Greetings, everyone. And welcome to a particularly annoyed version of Monster Party.
Monster Party!
Monster Party!
Angry and upset! It's what's going on!
It is.
Yeah.
It's vexing.
And, yeah, we're vexed, I think.
And speaking of vexing, who are you, sir?
I am... Wow, that was good. That was, again, right on point.
Well,
I am Matt Weinhold.
I am Shawn Sheridan.
I'm Larry STROTHE.
And I'm James Gonis.
And I'm vexed.
You are vexed. Perpetually vexed.
Yes, but I'm vexed in a way because we have a very interesting topic tonight.
Well, you know, it's kind of one of those topics where passions will be inflamed. Will some things will get under our skin.
Like that sand that you get at the beach.
Yeah.
It gets caught in your swimming
Ass
suit.
crack.
Yes,
Just
yes.
say it.
It's just irritating.
Yes. And this topic is
What is our topic?
sci-fi pet peeves.
Sci-fi pet peeves.
Sci-fi pet
So these are like alien species called peeve that they keep
Yes.
as pets
Yes.
in a futuristic
Oh,
society.
you've got to be kidding
He is
me.
always writing.
You have got to be
Always
kidding
writing.
me. No.
Peeve?
Angry
I like that.
things.
I
Things
like
that
that.
irritate you.
Yeah,
Okay.
sort of like instead of critters, the peeves.
Do you have to change? Do you have to change your notes now?
I think I do.
Anyway, so what this is, it's science fiction, either technology or concepts. Tropes, if you will,
Things that get under your skin.
that annoy us.
and
Right.
who better to go with us on this trip?
Who loves to be annoyed? And does it with relish. Ladies and gentlemen, she is a comedian unsurpassed. Director, actor,
Friend of the
producer,
show.
Yeah.
friend of the
Yes.
show. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Sue Murphy.
Sue Murphy.
Thank you.
Sue, so great to see you again.
My first peeve is the introduction.
Is it too long? Is it? Yeah, wow.
You know,
yeah.
you
Hey,
try to
okay.
I'm
compliment
very
someone.
happy to be here.
Well, we're
We
happy
love you.
to be
You're
here.
like
Yes.
you're another fifth member.
I'm into it. There is, where else do I see this many Frankenstein heads in one room?
She's in the
right.
new studio. She
It's
hasn't seen the new
fantastic.
studio.
That's right.
It's fantastic.
Yeah.
But you know, it's
coming together.
It's funny. We've had you on several times, and every once in a while we would get on something, and we talk a bit about what irritated us about certain things. So, I mean, I think it was Shawn.
I
who
think
thought,
E.T. started it.
yes,
all.
yes,
Right.
yes.
Yeah.
I know.
Which I have a point about that.
Oh, I think our listeners have heard enough of us bitching about
Oh, no.
E.T.
But we've
Yep.
got plenty of bitching to do.
yes.
And why don't we just get right into it?
Why don't we get going?
Yeah.
Let's go to sci-fi pet peeves.
Does anyone
pitch.
want to start?
I think Sue
you're the
should,
guest. You
yes.
have the.
Do
Do you want me to start?
Sure. Why not?
Well, do I start with my number one pet peeve, or do I work
Wh-
my way
whatever.
toward it?
Wherever you
Whatever
want.
one.
Something plucky. that
Okay,
will get the
I'll start with
listener's
one
attention.
that's pretty obvious. I'm
Okay.
going to go with obvious.
Okay.
And we're going to go with the obvious one of aliens that wherever they go, things come to life around them. You walk through a forest and all of a sudden the forest
that's a
comes
good
to
one.
life.
That's a good
Or
one.
like a
Or, you know,
flower.
like this, and you just see them when they step on the grass and the grass grows up around
Right.
them. Or they're E.T., and all of a sudden the way we know he's powerful is that gosh darn flower kept coming back to life.
Right.
And that's
So she
how
did
we
start with E.T..
knew. But it is one of those things. It's like
Starman.
that's how we under Starman. That's how we know they're aliens and they have
Right,
powers.
magical, mystical.
Magical things come to life
You
around
don't like
them.
it when the little alien brings a flower to life?
I'm just saying, I'm tired of it. Let's come up with a new way of figuring
Yeah.
out someone's an alien.
Right.
What? So what? He like the little alien comes to life, and all of a sudden he zaps a flower and explodes into a million pieces.
I like
kinda
that.
cool.
That's
I'd like
cool.
that.
That's
Nice.
that
Yeah.
means he's destructive. He's not
Yeah, well,
bringing
maybe he
things.
is.
to
Why
life.
didn't E.T. just go to a cemetery?
And bring everything back to life.
Yeah.
It's just
I mean, like,
hell
Oh
on
my God,
earth.
Yeah,
that puts
that'd be
the
cool.
sci-fi aliens.
Yeah.
And,
I'm
you know, the Walking Dead.
Something for the
Fantastic.
adults.
I'm sure E.T. would say something like, I don't do that. I don't have that kind of power or something.
You can run now.
No.
Yes. What are you saying no to? That
Yeah,
is
what are you
the
saying
thing.
no
What are you
to?
saying
I
no
don't say-
to? I'm not talking. Get over your ET issues.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just
Just
all
the
right.
That
idea,
concept.
All
the,
right.
idea
Right,
the
right.
concept of that. Oh, it just is. You see it so often.
Right.
I just want someone to be more imaginative.
Yes.
About how we
Okay.
show
Right.
the power of aliens.
Okay, this is
It's
what
been done.
This is what I want to say to you, Sue. I see
Which
your
is feminine for sure.
I see no. Sue, I see your point because just bear with me now. So little
trying.
ET, it's like he is the first alien that I recall seeing that when he touches something, oh, the flower comes back to life. And when you see it for the first time, it's okay. You accept
Yes,
it.
the first
But
time
then-
it's fine.
But then when you start to see it in other movies,
Yeah,
like
that's kind of what I just said.
Right, right.
Is that it's going over and over and over again.
well, it's like some stuff, kind of like is there some stuff in Avatar too when they're walking through like stuff and,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
stuff. It
it's-
doesn't necessarily
Yes.
come back
It's
to life,
like
but it
it's come
kind
to
of lights
life.
up. It kind of grows.
But you could say almost the same in the horror field too, where some evil person's walking by and the flowers die
True.
next to
Yeah,
them.
it's
It's that
the
same kind of
right.
idea, you know, like
Yeah.
they- somehow
Here's
they
evil.
emanate something negative or positive, but like why? I mean,
Yeah.
like if it's
kind of a
supernatural, you know, then maybe you buy it. Like birds drop dead, if, in the
But the
presence of
first
something.
5 times you buy.
Right, right.
And
But it
then
is kind of
it's
a
like,
familiar.
Let's try something else.
All I'm saying is let's get a little bit more imaginative out there.
True.
Well, now, what about Groot, though? Because Groot, I would say, is the exception because he is a plant.
He is a plant.
Yeah.
And I do like Groot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who
Yeah.
doesn't? Like
and
Groot?
and that's
Even
not,
though
he's
I'm not particularly fond of the man who voices him.
No.
wait, personally or just the voice?
So, no, it's just personally, I'm not impressed with his particular life.
But okay, his life, yeah, but he does a great job at
He's got
I am
two-
Groot. I
he's-
am Groot. James,
He's
you can
got
do it.
3.
You got one
How
line.
hard is it to do that?
Hey, okay. Let's
So you
not.
you don't sit
guys-
you don't
no,
sit
no,
at
no.
home and have like a Riddick marathon.
No,
Wait,
I do.
wait a minute,
I
wait a
do
minute.
that. It's called, it's called hate watching. Is what you do.
Okay, listen. Okay, I have to take issue with this because when you listen to
watching.
all
Larry,
the
I thought it
lines,
was the new you.
No, it is the new me.
It isn't the new you. I said 3 things that no reason to take issue with, and you go right on it. I have to take issue with
No,
it.
Sue,
what
would
about
you-
babies and flowers?
Okay,
Now
Sue-
Vin Diesel needs to be defended.
Yeah. Now, wait a minute.
Right.
Vin Diesel has some good qualities.
Yeah,
All I'm
you
saying-
know what? I'd like a horror movie where they walk by and Vin Diesel withers.
all I'm saying is the line "I am Groot." There's different inflections that he
He's a
gives.
Yeah,
genius.
but think of how
He's-
much money he gets just for doing
Yeah,
that
like
friggin'
10
Yeah,
gig.
you know what?
$1 million.
And they could not find anyone else in Hollywood
Oh,
who
no.
could do
Yeah.
that.
Wait,
Right.
am I the
That
only
is-
one who feels this way?
No,
it
but
could
come
be
on, it could have been anybody.
Could
You
be
could have done
anybody.
it, Larry. You could have
do it.
No, I can't
alter
do
the
it.
voice.
I am Groot.
Yeah,
See, I love it.
said
It's
it.
great.
That's fine.
No.
Wait, hold on. Hollywood's calling. Hold on.
Hold on, right?
Yes, he is available.
No, they hung up.
Oh,
Okay.
Wait, as soon as you said he was available.
Don Hollywood.
Yes, he is available.
Okay.
Hello?
Okay.
Oh, no.
Getting back
You
to
gotta
our
want it more.
point. Getting back to the point. Sue doesn't like, and I see her point, and I can agree with you.
I didn't say doesn't like. It is a peeve.
A peeve.
peeve,
Yes.
right,
Say
right.
on it.
Yes.
Right.
Pet peeve is different than, I don't like that. It's just one of those things
Right,
that
right.
peeves you.
Yeah, it's not something you hate. You're
Okay,
just
okay.
kind of slightly vexed by.
Well, let me throw something out to you because I want to see if you are on the same wavelength. Okay, here's a pet peeve that I have. Okay.
So we're doing cross.
Oh no,
we're
I'm
doing it.
sorry.
Whatever, that's
I'm
fine.
sorry.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah, let's
I'm
go.
sorry. Let's go. No,
It's
no,
all
no.
right. He just almost died. It's okay. It's
Sean,
all right. He's clinging to life. But go right ahead.
No, Sean, please.
Okay. All right. This is
I
kind of
jumped ahead. I'm sorry about that.
This is a development that I've been seeing happening in one of my favorite franchises, but it's starting to kind of like vex me a little bit.
Vex.
Get in my craw.
Getting your liver.
Yeah, it's just I'm talking about the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Okay. All right. I'm with you.
Which I pretty much, I love all the movies. I think they're
Yeah,
great.
me too.
And to varying degrees, but I think
Yes,
they're all great.
yeah.
It's just a super, like, great franchise.
But-
But with the Iron Man character, I've noticed a change from, like, the first Iron Man movie all the way up to Infinity Wars. And that is, I've lost that sense of physicality with the Iron Man armor, with the suit. I think it started with, like, in the first movie, it's great. You see, like, the origin of the suit and how it's first that, like, much more cruder, you know, suit.
Yes, yeah.
And it builds and then, like, designs all these different kinds. I think it was in the second Iron Man where he had, like, that suitcase.
The suitcase, yeah.
That, like, he puts it down and it kind of just becomes the suit.
Yeah,
like,
it almost...
I'm like, okay, you know, it's a little much. But by the time you get to Infinity Wars, which I loved, I mean, I really liked the movie. But now it's kind of like it's nanotechnology. So, like, in some of the battles, he literally can, like, produce anything out of thin air now, almost. Like, there's a point where
He's like Green Lantern.
yeah,
with
it
the
is.
ring.
He's battling Thanos, and, like, he suddenly, like, he just produces a shield. It just kind of forms from his arm. It's
Yeah.
like, I understand that, like,
You need limitations.
yeah, but I understand they have to up the ante to a point. You know, they have to kind of keep developing it. But he might as well be like Doctor Strange now, where it's like Doctor Strange can just kind of create anything out of the blue,
out of
thin
nothing.
air.
Yeah.
Well, but see,
Or Mr. Gadget.
Yeah, really.
Inspector Gadget.
Inspector
No,
Gadget,
Inspector
yes.
Gadget. Am I sorry?
Dr.
Am I sorry?
Gadget.
What I actually meant to say is David Copperfield.
I knew what she was talking about.
But you know what I'm saying? Like, you see, you don't really have that sense of, like, it's almost like a magical suit now. You know what I mean?
I would say I kind of checked out a little earlier than you did, and I think it's Iron Man 3,
Right.
where he doesn't even need to be in the suit anymore.
That too kind of bugs me. Right.
I have all the empty suits that fly around. And,
Yeah.
It's all just remote.
Yeah, and so
Yeah.
why even, you could be Tony Stark from your waterbed.
Right. Totally. Yeah.
Waterbed?
Yeah. He would have a waterbed.
Sure.
But yeah, so I think...
I think a waterbed would be inappropriate if you're wearing a metal suit.
that's true. That's true.
I'm just
To the bottom.
I'm just saying.
Right to the bottom.
I don't know. I tried it.
How about an
Right.
oil bed?
Yeah. There you go.
I have one now.
You know,
Let's
Sean,
jump in, everyone.
It's funny you should say that because there is the sequence in the second one when
Right.
it's the briefcase.
Yeah, even that was a little much for me.
Here's the thing that gets me is I buy everything up to that point because if you think about it, if you had sheets of metal lined up all within that case,
Right.
I mean, it has to be incredibly thin to be able to
Right.
come on out and cover his whole body, and it almost gets to the point where, I understand that you're a technological wizard,
Right.
but come on,
It's
it almost
getting
seems
to the point
magical. Look,
yeah,
but
it's getting to the point of fantasy now.
Look, I love it is fun.
I love the character of Iron Man, Tony Stark, and
To
I
me,
think
it
it's
does kind of cross that line.
yeah, it's a little
But they
much.
do that all the time. Look at the Transformer movies. You have a VW bug that
Right.
turns into a monster that's a skyscraper.
That was on my
That
list too.
is so annoying. It's like, no, that doesn't. I'm sorry.
No,
I
it has
own a
to agree.
VW
It has
bug.
Yeah, you're increasing your mass.
You're
Yeah.
increasing your mouse, and
Yes.
you're saying, "Oh, this little suitcase. You might as well be doing Harry Potter with the thing
Right,
with the world."
right.
But
Yeah.
this is not. But
I
this is
want to
not
go-
Harry Potter. It has to be
It's
metal.
supposed to
So
be, yeah.
It has to kind of okay. If you're expanding, it has to take up the similar amount of space.
Right.
But
Yeah,
you're
that's what I'm
right.
saying.
You're right, Sue.
Because for all the fantastic things in the Marvel universe, so far I think that they've done a good job of, like, Doctor Strange is the mystical arts and he does all that stuff, and Captain America is super strong and all that, but like. So Tony Stark, though, I think he's just lost that element of what made Iron Man in the first place. I think they should kind of go back to almost like him having to start from scratch or something. He has just that suit. I mean, yeah, I just kind of miss that.
What's the character in the X-Men who controls metal?
Magneto.
Right.
So all of a sudden now he's like Magneto. In the way that he's got suits that are empty flying around that he's
Yeah, kind of,
controlling.
right.
I'm just saying, if it's metal, that changes his thing.
But with nanotechnology, wouldn't those nanobots be able to take anything
I guess,
and create it? Now, they're doing it at a very rapid pace.
but yeah, like in a split second.
And so, within the outward edges of scientific plausibility, okay, maybe.
Right.
And yes, just from a dramatic standpoint, to watch Tony Stark take an hour and a half to get into his costume.
right.
Yeah. Imagine, look how hard it is to like lift like a roof shingle,
right. Yeah.
Yeah. It doesn't really lend itself too
This
well.
beer is heavy.
But Sue, it's interesting you mentioned Transformers because that's also on my list because I always thought, like, you watch a Transformers cartoon, it's like, okay, I don't care. I buy that they can transform. Even like the toys, the original toys, they physically change into things. But with the movies, they're in this kind of realistic world, but they made the robots so intricate and so detailed, but I don't buy it when they turn into a car or when
Right.
the car turns into that, opens up, because a trick of the eye. Like no matter how good the CGI is, I don't buy it.
You know, you bring
Like,
up.
I'll buy all the explosions and the
Right.
wreckage around
Yeah,
them,
but it also goes. It's standing at the same height as a human being, and then
Yeah,
it comes
yeah.
together, and it's a building that's 10 stories.
yeah, yeah. It's just I
Then
don't.
again, I hate Transformer movies.
Oh yeah, I kind of do too.
I think
yeah.
we're all the
I
same.
know,
page
Sean.
with that
I
one.
will say
Yeah.
this. You know, you bring up a really
So
good
do
point.
it.
If they,
I don't care. We'll see it.
See, it's like, look, in our world has rules. Let's say they
Right.
played by the toy rule. So I have several of these little like Transformer toys, okay, that's it's like in the shape of a helicopter or a car, and what happens is you pull it apart, extend something or whatever,
Right,
and it
right.
turns into like a little robot.
Yes.
And then it's like, oh, there it is, but it doesn't, it's not like 3 feet high.
Right.
You know, they should play by the toy rule. If the same kind of stuff that you use to make the toy, make the car, and then you can extend it to turn into the robot, it's got to be that size.
Right.
I agree with you. I think that by doing it that way, it would ground it more.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
could buy it. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's my issue too.
And that's the same thing.
Well,
with,
it's Michael
yeah.
Bay, isn't it? I mean, where he just
Well, they
like
don't.
a-
You know,
you know what I
yeah.
mean? He
cares.
doesn't care.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
well, I don't
But
know.
also the other thing too is that
But
when
no,
you
but I don't think he made those movies because that he loved the toys.
probably not.
He made it because it was an amazingly lucrative franchise
Sure.
to tap into. It's not like someone. I mean, you know, J.J. Abrams is at least a fan of Star Trek,
Is he?
Star Wars when he did that.
he?
Yeah, at least he was.
No, I think he is. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, that's
No,
for another show.
He's a fanboy. I mean, no matter what you
I'm
think
not saying
of
he's a
his stuff.
fanboy,
But-
but I mean, I wouldn't want a fanboy. I'd actually have to someone who's a quality producer do it. But you know, I'm just saying at
want
least he
both.
knew something about it.
But getting back
Right.
to your point about Michael Bay, you're saying that, you know, he didn't really care. He just wanted to make something big and fantasy-like.
yeah,
and,
he saw.
and it's for the
he-
kids.
he-
you know?
listen, he's an enormously successful human being. So,
yes,
you know.
and
Yeah,
the
we
films,
can't tell him he's wrong.
and
really.
look, as much as
Michael Bay, you're wrong.
Listening?
Michael,
Start all over
Michael,
again.
can you hear me?
No,
Move the
look,
money.
no,
Move
no.
the money out of the way and look at me.
I'm sure.
Can you hear me through the pile of money?
You know, we'll ask him when we get him on the show.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so
oh, yeah.
Sean, that's a really good though. Oh, that's a good pet peeve.
Hot seat with Michael Bay.
Okay, so let me. Can I throw out a pet peeve
All right.
then? Okay, so this pet peeve, I've seen this. It was in this one particular movie, and it just really irked me so much. And I've seen it in other things, and it really pisses me off. And that is, it's the in space, the arrogant scientist. And this is what I mean by arrogant scientist. It's like, oh, here you are, you're on this strange planet. It's like, hey, I'm going to take my helmet off and
See.
and breathe. Yeah.
Now, I had this one.
and it's like,
Me
hey,
too.
and it's like, just bear with me here. There is a film that we talked a lot about, and I don't want to spend a lot of time on it, and that's Prometheus, directed by Ridley Scott. And there's some irritating things that it just bugs the shit out of me. How
That's one of the most egregious examples.
and-
of
But
it.
that's not. I wouldn't say that's an arrogant.
No, no,
there-
no.
what bothers me is
stupid.
the dumb scientist.
Yeah, it's stupidity.
It's you
Ignorance.
send you down there and you didn't do any study and you're going, oh, look at alien life
Aliens,
form.
yes.
You're so cute.
but here's but
yeah, no, it's
Sue, on the
It's like,
flip side,
are you-
it's so horrible.
Who sent the slow kid to the planet?
It's funny. It's like how many years have gone by now since that movie came out, and I'm still annoyed. Like I'm still pissed off.
They do the same thing with
2012.
Alien Covenant. They do the same thing too.
Yes, they do.
I mean, it's just as stupid.
I don't. And I watched the new Lost in Space series. And I
Yeah.
watched a couple episodes
on Netflix.
Yeah, it's whatever. But there's a scene where everybody takes their helmets off. And
It's like a
I
trend
just,
or something?
I just
Like,
don't
what's-
get it. I don't
Yeah.
like. How about all you need to do is just write an extra line of like, "Hey, I did all the calculations and it says everything's fine."
Yeah.
Right.
But kind of an adjacent pet peeve to that is, I think we discussed it before, where someone they have to go from one airlock to another, and so they shoot themselves through the vacuum of space, and they're almost frozen, but then they make it, or like 2001. The other thing too that pisses me off is like, no, forget it. The minute you take your helmet off and you're in the vacuum of space,
You're done.
You're
I
done.
think you're
that's it.
done.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
Right?
In seconds.
Yeah, I mean seconds, right?
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Star Trek Discovery, there was a scene like that where jumping from one spot to another through the vacuum of space.
Just hold your breath.
And you could see her freezing up towards the tail end of her journey. And the next time you see her, her hair's fabulous. Like, it's like
Well, space does actually do wonders for your hair.
Yeah.
It's like when you go to Las Vegas and you go, my hair's entirely different here.
so that's what I need.
Yeah.
The vacuum of space.
You need the vacuum of space.
Well, yeah,
What it does to your genital area, the whole thing. It's real.
That's how, sometimes I get up in the morning, I look in the mirror, and I go, "Where are you, vacuum of space?"
Space.
The thing that bugs me is, Sue, you bring up a really good point. You say, Larry, they're not arrogant, they're dumb. Well, here's the thing. When you look, the main guy, his name is Holloway. He's the archaeologist. He's a really smart guy. Now, let me just throw something out.
Because
Is
he's
this in
been
Prometheus?
written.
Yeah. But
To be that.
If I could just say one thing here, Ridley Scott did a film later on called The Martian, and I know, Matt, you're not really the biggest fan of it, but the funny thing about The Martian is all of these people, all these astronauts, they all study different sciences, but they're very smart, and they all seem to go through stuff kind of
You are
logically.
stepping into my trap. You
Going
are
back to-
stepping into my trap. Except for the Latino guy, when they're explaining space, and he actually turns around in The Martian and says, "Hey, can you say that again in English?"
That's right. Look, I just watched
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
Look, I just watched it, and Sue,
you're a
Sue,
scientist.
Sue,
You're a rocket
Sue,
scientist.
I would say
but
the
I
same
don't
thing.
understand the
No,
big
no.
words.
Yeah, no, because
I need to play my horn to
Okay.
think.
Yeah, okay.
No.
Okay,
I just wanted to finish that for you, man.
If you recall, the question is, the girl explains how there's an issue. They can't take off they can't change the computer stuff, and she starts citing all this computer technology, and I was listening, and I'm getting lost. And the guy who
but you're not a rocket scientist.
no, but he flies the ship. He steers the ship, and he doesn't understand what she was saying. And because he said, "Oh, can you say it in English?"
How is he
It was
in
such
that
a throwaway.
position?
It was such a
He
throwaway.
can't be in a position that you would be
By
one
that
of,
point.
one of 6 people chosen for the greatest space mission of all time. But all he knows is how to drive.
Yeah.
I don't
no,
think
no,
so.
No.
Well, the point I was trying
Very
to
specialized.
The point
job.
that
But
was
I'm
trying to
hopping
make.
on. It's the dumb scientist.
Right.
And, you know,
It's
that
bad writing.
That
That's
makes
what it is.
And when you think about the air, that makes me think of a really egregious scene in Total Recall, where it's Arnold
Oh, I
Schwarzenegger.
hate that. That's why I
and
hate that
Maria Conchita-Alonso. That scene is so ridiculous.
Wait,
where
what scene are we talking about?
They don't have their suits on.
Yeah. And they're shot out to
Literally,
Mars.
the air is being sucked off of the atmosphere, is leaving Mars.
Yes.
And their
they're-
eyes are popping out.
It's like a Tex Avery cartoon. It is so
Exactly.
ridiculous. I mean, that is just ridiculous.
Right.
Well,
Yeah,
may
they're
I may I remind you that film did win the Academy Award for Best Visual Effects?
Oh, so it's
So
fine
that means
then.
we're wrong.
So
is that what it is?
So all the bad
is that what it
writing
is?
doesn't matter.
Is that what it means?
No, that's not what it means.
So
Right.
it
I
won,
just wanted to bring
won
that
for
up.
best special
So what is
effects
that? Who cares?
for eye popping.
Well, that and other
Yeah.
things.
They were-
Shakespeare in Love got Best Picture.
Cares?
They were
like that
eye-popping
movie.
special
Oh, go.
effects.
Yeah.
It would be interesting if Shakespeare in Love. Shakespeare didn't understand the language of the technology. Now that would be a whole
Right,
different
because it's
thing.
a whole different style of English.
Or it'd be interesting if they got sucked out of airlocks.
Thou protests.
Shakespeare and
Yeah. I did not come here to squire your horses.
nothing left but a fingernail.
Well,
I mean, I want to give James an opportunity here, but I have an add-on to this
Sure.
about the dumb scientist.
Sure.
Okay.
The thing I can't stand is the scientific explanation for dummies in movies. And they use the people around them
That's
as
in
if
The
they
Martian.
don't know. And I'll use Jurassic Park, and they
Okay.
have to go through the ride, and this is the cartoon of the you know what I
Yeah.
mean? But in The Martian,
yes.
one of the worst was when Childish Gambino
Yeah.
came up with the idea. And he's explaining it to the head of NASA.
Yes.
And they're all like, "What?" And he goes, "All right, give me your pen." And he walks through how they'll
Yes.
slingshot around, give me the stapler.
Yeah.
Agony.
It jumps through the screen. And
Agony.
I really like his music.
Oh, I
what's-
don't,
You know
but-
what's, I liked that scene though.
What?
Because
What do you mean?
it-
It's for the
idiots.
retards in the crowd.
Yes, that's
You
right.
think though-
Yes. Sue.
Can you
there
say
you go.
retarded on this?
Yeah.
Yes,
Sue,
you can.
there you go.
Is
There
this
you
a
go.
Me
Do you think
Too
that was
for
in-
you, Matt?
I'm one of these people.
Matt, are you Me Tooing my
Listen,
retarded
I'm one of
comment?
these people.
It's standards and
who-
practices
look,
says it's fine.
Look, like they all bitched at me about the Godzilla when they're all, oh, Larry, if this thing really happened, blah, 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 blah. And it's like, look, I bought the fantasy science. And in this thing, look, I didn't know. I really didn't know.
Well, do you think that was in the book, though? I wonder if that was in the book or they did that for the movie.
Well, it doesn't matter the way they do it. It is like all of a sudden you go, what am I for?
Well, see, that's the thing. That's the issue because this guy has
he's smarter.
No. He lacks the social graces, and he's all, let me have this pen, and everyone's looking at him like, are you fucking kidding me?
Yes,
and
but
they
the
let him
head
go
of
through
NASA
it.
could have it explained to him in scientific terms.
No, but the great
not with a stapler and a
But
pen.
see, he doesn't know. He doesn't know this guy. And what does he say? What does he say when the guy after he explains it? He goes,
memorize this
he goes,
movie?
Teddy, get out. It was just on the other day. I love watching it. It's a fun film.
You know
I
what?
like
If that movie was just Matt Damon on Mars, that would have been a good movie. Every time they go back to Earth is another rollicking romp through hilarious comedy. Shut the fuck everybody on Earth. I just want to see the guy survive on Mars. And if I'm going to hear anything from Earth, I want to hear a crackly little voice. We're losing you. Use your poo. And then that's it. I don't...
No.
I hated everybody on Earth.
Listen, I love the stuff on Earth because they're trying to help him, and they have to figure out how do we do this, and they have to go
it's all
through
goofy, shitty
It's
comedy.
not all goofy shit.
terrible.
No.
It was a
See,
real
you know
play
why?
to the
You know why you
Chinese
say that? Because you're
market,
Mr. Comedy.
That's what
I'm
it is.
Mr.
So that makes you Mrs.
You guys
I'm Mrs. Comedy.
You guys are brilliant, comical people, and I totally get
finally.
it. When I watch,
We're pretty good.
When I watched it, will you back me up here? When I watch the film,
pipe down.
I'm watching this, and then all of a sudden, when someone says a remark, and you go, "Oh, he's trying to be funny." Look, guys, I see myself. I would make that stupid
I'm not talking
comment.
about being funny. I'm
you
talking
wouldn't
about
be-
the dumb explanation,
Like,
which always uses
talking down to the audience,
You're talking
kind of, right?
down to the audience, and it's always using a found object in the room. So we want
Right.
to do this. It's like, give me your straw.
Yeah.
It's always give me your pen.
But that
Give me your
helps
Yeah,
me.
but you know what the
Hey,
Andromeda...
it helps
Do you know what the
because
Andromeda
you-
strain
Okay, let me-
needed? Childish Gambino.
Okay,
Childish Gambino.
Sue, did you ever see the movie Destination
Instead of doing
Moon?
America, do Andromeda Strain.
Did you ever see Destination Moon? It was made in 1950 with George Powell.
you
One of the
did.
greatest little sequences is they actually, when they're explaining to a bunch of guys who are going to like fund this spaceship, they show a little Woody Woodpecker cartoon, and Woody Woodpecker
right.
kind of explains. They go through Woody Woodpecker. Why are you laughing? No, but Woody Woodpecker learns what it takes, how the rocket goes to the moon, and how they land, and it explains stuff in simple terms.
That's
And
probably,
it's a
that's probably
good
where
thing.
Jurassic Park got the
I
idea for
don't-
their
Yeah,
thing.
yeah.
Like it.
Seriously.
Because you know why? Because you're smart. You're a genius. You're a brilliant person. Me,
Oh my
I'm not.
gosh,
I'm
it's
not.
just tiresome.
No.
Find another way of doing it.
Or do it really scientific and like have the audience just
Don't do
try
it
to
the way
hold on and figure it out.
the
You know what I mean?
Destination
You know-
Moon did it.
But see, here's
What
the thing.
about those movies that you go and you walk away from, and then all of a sudden you think, "Oh, that was an interesting."
you're
thing,"
trying to
because
almost
that
keep
makes
up with it and
sense
think about
because
it, right.
They were in a different time continuum in that place, and someone
Right,
didn't
right.
come out with a 3D BB.
They didn't spoon feed it to
You know the 3D
Yes,
BB?
yes, yes.
Yes, with the 3D.
The 3D
BB.
BB knows all.
All right.
Come on, Mr. Whoopi.
Okay. So look, I've monopolized
love
time
that.
here for a while. So we
But
agree we don't like
Put a pin in part of what you were talking about because it'll then
Come back to you.
follow up with what I'm going to
But I
talk
think
about.
Sue and I think we both agree that this is an irritating thing that we like. That whether it's the
Yeah,
stupid
I
or
don't
the
need a
arrogant
review.
scientist. Okay, there we go. James,
I think everyone pretty got that. You know what? Once you
James?
we're explaining it to this audience. If you could only see. Now imagine this pencil is Larry, and this phaser is Sue. They're nodding at each other. That means they agree.
My voice is the orbit of a planet.
all right. Actually, that sounded pretty cool though. I like that.
hey.
All right.
Yeah.
I want James to speak
Yes,
once.
James, please save the show.
Do you have your notes?
I do.
All right.
He's there
Don't let us see him.
tattooed on the inside of his eyelid.
Okay.
No, enough of James. So moving on.
When you have, I'm thinking mostly about Star Wars because you've got a lot of spaceships and you've got a lot of anti-gravity technology. But when it comes to droids, they're walking on 2 feet or they're rolling on wheels and they're falling over or they're stumbling. And, you know, if you remember the scene where Vader tortures Leia with that, with that ball that comes floating
Right.
in.
Yeah. What was she wearing?
It was her white outfit.
That was the.
Put your soft toes in this hot chili.
But why, if you've got the technology that enables that orb to float, then why don't all of the droids float? Wouldn't it be a lot more efficient?
Well, that's the torture probe. That's,
Yes, but if
It's
you've got
a simple.
No, but I get it. You have the technology,
Yeah.
and yet you're not applying it to your best friend. You're letting them rot away on their sad little legs.
along,
The torture probe worked his way up. He was just a minor droid, and then worked his way up, and then
and
you know
said,
what?
"Hey, I can fly, and I got a job for you."
Yeah, it's like the droid version of the executive restroom.
Okay, even if you can't have droids float around, at least you're that advanced in technology where they can have, I don't know, 3 legs, or an easier way for them to get around on rough terrain like Tatooine.
Well, R2 had
R2D2
three
had-
legs.
three
Yeah,
legs.
there were several that had
sort
multiple
of.
legs, but I think a lot of the droids are made by different. They're not all made by the
Companies.
Empire.
Yeah.
Some are just they're made by
Third parties, maybe.
freelance
Realistic.
companies, or but that's why I always
This is
like that one.
this gets back to why we have tariffs. Am I off base
No,
on this?
sci-fi tariffs.
I think
Make
you're right
the
on.
droids great again.
But I think the original Star Wars, I liked because you had that kind of more realistic, grounded robots that didn't always work well, and they were like, dirty, and they didn't always work. Where as the movies went on, they got so sophisticated to the point where in the prequels you see R2 flying. It's like it was almost too much. I mean,
Yeah.
I liked the kind of like down and dirty, kind of like just a different variety of droids in the first movie.
You need limitations. You need vulnerability
Right.
to
But also,
give some weight to drama.
But Star Wars is such a unique thing because it feels more for kids than some of the other sci-fi.
That's true, especially
It's
now.
just kind
And
of-
so,
yes,
I I just feel like I cut it a little different slack because it's
not
the
hard
cute
science fiction either.
droid.
It's
It's not
sci-fi
hard,
fantasy.
yeah, but it's also about id, and it's about the whole
Right,
ego
myth,
and
yeah.
all the mythology and all
Right.
that sort of stuff. Hey, James Campbell, how you doing? Shout out.
Right,
So, but it just seems,
Joseph Campbell.
whatever. James Campbell, I like. Childish Campbell.
She's been drinking.
I love his soup.
Yeah, I love his soup. I really do. I really do enjoy his soup. But what I was going to say is that I cut it a little slack because there's a lot of things that happen in Star Wars that are absolutely just for the cute factor.
Can
yeah.
I-
Well, and
Definitely.
certainly more and more as it goes
later
along.
on.
James,
sure.
can I just
Well,
ask,
I also got, except for Jar Jar Binks, who, by the way,
There's no factor.
no factor.
Right,
are you saying that in the Star Wars universe that irritates you, or is it like all robots? Like,
But I get it. You're saying
for example,
you present some technology and you go, why don't you apply it all
like
over
in the
here?
black
Yeah.
hole, for example. I mean, Vincent.
Hey, listen, I'm right here.
Yeah. In the black hole, Vincent, beautifully voiced by
Sue is explaining the black hole joke to me in
beautifully
detail.
voiced by Roddy McDowell.
Yeah.
Okay.
He floats,
And so does Maximilian.
and so does Maximilian.
Actually, I like those robots.
Sort of got that right. I
Yeah.
will also give props to BB-8 because that's a much more mobile design. for
Yeah,
a
That's
droid.
true.
sort of practical.
Yes. Yeah.
So
practical-
at least they got
yeah.
that far in the evolution
true.
of how to design a droid properly.
Yeah, I like that.
But
yeah.
it's a peeve of you in the Star Wars universe that more droids aren't floating.
Well, it wasn't before, but now the more I think about it, it's like, well, yeah. I mean, it's kind of stupid to have them like fall. You see C-3PO falling down, R2-D2 falling over. It's like, oh, come on. You've got these ships. Even shitty ships, supposedly like Millennium Falcon, can get around.
But
and jump around.
wouldn't you say if C-3PO and R2-D2, if you're bitching about they have legs and they're keep falling over, if they
But he's-
float, they would be designed completely different, right?
But he's a protocol droid, so he's
Yeah.
really just for like
He's like
your
He's
relations.
like a Golden
between-
Academy Award.
Can I argue something here? And that is that how many times have you bought something, let's say off TV, as seen on TV, and it arrives and it works great at first, but then it completely breaks down? Do you remember which movie is it where they find? I think it's the
You mean
Jawa,
like the
Jawa
the magic eraser?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right. The Flowbee.
The Jawa?
The inside the Jawa crawler.
Yeah.
There's all the other droids.
Yes,
and
that's
they're
true.
all fucked up.
And
Everything
R5D4
is- yeah.
looks like he's okay.
Yeah,
And
but
he has a bad motivator.
Most of them are screwed up.
Yeah.
And I'm sure there's a lot of screwed up droids.
Well, they're used
Empire
for their
or
parts.
no Empire.
Yeah, they're scrap used for parts. They like customize things. They,
So this is my theory, that the torture droid that floats didn't float for very long. They got it. It floated around Princess Leia. They went, give her the shot. And it went, hit the floor. And it was like, oh, fuck. We're never buying from that company again.
Right. Have them killed.
Yeah. And so,
What is this, American made?
yeah. I have a feeling that there was a lot of, see, those are the scenes I want to see in a Star
Right.
Wars movie.
But I think James brings up a thing that can go outside of Star Wars. It's in sci-fi movies across the board where they have one scene where they have some sort of advanced technology, and then you're in the another scene where now we don't have that technology. I mean, it just doesn't.
Right.
It's not equal across the. It's like we have a force field, we have an invisible ship, we have all these things, but in this one, all of a sudden, Tom Cruise is actually sexually attractive.
Right.
Why do you have a lightsaber in the Star Wars
but that
universe?
goes-
By the way,
That
I'd
goes
like to
back to
edit that
the-
out. I do think he's kind of a cute guy.
But he had his time.
Lightsabers go back to the tradition of the Jedi's, though. The whole point is they use them instead of blasters. I mean,
Yeah.
that I have
The
no
idea-
problem
no
with because
problem.
I
it's
know, but
their-
if it's light, how come the light doesn't keep going forever? And
It's a
ever?
lightsaber.
Well, but why?
Yeah.
Good explanation.
I would look. There are very few Jedis at this point in
Right,
the
right.
series. Like from the very first movie, there's one left.
right.
It's because they used lightsabers instead of blasters. Maybe if you tried something beside a sword.
But a good Jedi can deflect any
Yes.
blaster,
Yes.
So,
as we've seen.
I can deflect.
yes.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, that's a big
And then you
deal.
go cut his head off with the lightsaber.
And
No,
apparently, at this
would-
point, there's only one good Jedi.
How about a laser from a ship that has the bead on Luke Skywalker and just blows him off the face of the earth?
Well, a good Jedi would
Yeah.
sense that it's doing that and would
And
be able
die.
to deflect it. No,
and make
no.
peace with his maker.
And look, we're jumping all over the page here because let's remember that all the Jedis that were on board, there were a lot of them. Remember, they were all assassinated at the same time. That was that general order.
Right.
You know,
Where was the Force then?
I'm
Silence.
Hey, every now and then the Force has to go over to Costco and pick up some stuff.
there.
They like large quantities.
But look,
Force just thinking about the weekend.
but look,
Just thinking about the weekend.
point
I'm
here-
going to get some lamb chops, a pair of shorts, and some flowers and
some
vitamins.
blue
That's-
milk.
that's great. But
And
just
I'm going to
the
learn how to
point-
speak
Yes, but
Cantonese.
the point is that James had an issue with why don't all the robots float? I
Yes.
get it.
And James,
Thank you, James.
Are you putting the fucking end credits on his entry here?
No, I'm just
James,
saying-
are you ready to end this? I don't think so.
Actually, I am.
Oh, all right. Well,
I'd like to hear another one of James because I don't think we were going to get back to him.
Well, actually, I wanted to hear Matt because we just haven't heard enough of Matt tonight. Yet.
oh, it's on. It's on, baby.
Do you have
Do I have open season? Am I okay?
No,
Yeah.
we go around the table,
Look,
so
all right.
it's like
Here. So this gets back to The Martian and a lot of movies and the Marvel Universe. I brought it up before, but the more and more I experience it, the more and more annoyed I get. It ruins movies that I think are mostly good. For example, well, it didn't really ruin Infinity Wars, but it made me not like some scenes in it and pull me right out of it. Enough with the fucking humor. Enough with
You
the
have
jokes.
to have some levity, though. in
It's
some
fine,
movies.
but make it good. Make it character driven.
So you don't want to see Alf in space?
wait, are you? Wait, no,
I tapped
pitch
into
me
your
the movie.
favorite.
are you saying The Martian is like a comedy?
there is so much.
According to the Golden Globes, it is a comedy.
Yeah,
Do you remember that
remember it
whole
was,
thing?
yeah.
The category that The Martian was under was comedy.
Was it really?
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
that was-
It was fucking ridiculous.
It was.
Yes,
Yes,
it
it
was.
was.
Was it just comedy?
Ricky, it was Ricky,
It was
Gervais-
comedy
That's
variety.
ridiculous.
Ricky Gervais was making fun of it, I think, as he was hosting it or something. It was or whoever was hosting
Wow,
it.
I did not watch those, and so
Well,
that is
that just shows how
incredible.
pointless and idiotic award shows are.
Yeah.
Well, a year or two later, wasn't Get Out under the comedy field in the Golden Globes?
No,
That's
funny.
a comedy?
What?
Yes.
comedy.
Yeah.
See, but now look, let's take.
You know what's interesting is Ricky Gervais was actually nominated under comedy too. So
he has his moments,
He has his moments, yeah.
and then he doesn't. But like,
So you don't like
take a
like
movie,
comedy?
Take a movie like Aliens.
yes,
In Aliens, You had what's his face? I'm blanking on his
Bill
name.
Paxton?
Bill Paxton. Thank you.
That was
Bill-
just enough.
Bill Paxton's character is the true definition of comic relief. It's a little bit. But yet it's still a character, and when the shit hits the fan, that comic relief part kind of falls apart and he becomes a little more and more pathetic.
Yeah.
And
Right.
that is where I like my comedy. I like it rooted in character. Whereas in Infinity War, I felt like every once in a while, it's like, ooh, someone thought up a funny line. Let's throw it at this character. Let's give it to Doctor Strange.
Do you
Let's give
blame
it
it
to
on-
Mantis.
Do you blame it on Guardians of the Galaxy because it was so successful?
I do. I do indeed.
Actually, I got
Because
it.
Right?
I tell you, before that, Age of Ultron.
Oh, that's horrible.
The smarmy humor, even in
Oh,
the
my
first scene,
God.
and I think that was before Guardians.
But see, Guardians created a world in and of itself.
Yeah, the first
it was
Guardians.
self-contained, and so that it
Yeah,
worked.
I thought the balance was
That's
just
what
right.
it should be in that movie.
Right.
Yeah.
Right,
But
right.
I think people are producing it going, well, look, that worked.
The kids like it when the heroes are
Thor needs
wisecracking.
some funny comebacks.
Right, and that's it. Like Ragnarok. It's like too much, guys. Like
Really?
A
yes,
little bit too much in that
Little
one.
bit
I
too much.
agree.
Guys, you know what?
I don't think Thor's funny.
You know,
I don't want him
shouldn't
to be
be
that funny.
funny.
But no, I don't.
Thor shouldn't be funny.
But it's funny you should say that because I enjoyed it. I mean, what little humor there was in it. I mean, I enjoyed it. And
A
you
lot
guys,
of humor.
I'm wondering. I'm listening to you guys. And I'm wondering. You know, are you guys too old and crusty? Because it's like I loved
Crusty.
it.
Why do I have to be old and crusty?
No, I was. Listen,
I've got a dried piece of phlegm on the edge of my lip.
Sue, I know.
I
see your
agree with
point.
it. It's like sitcoms where all of a sudden an 8-year-old is a
Right.
Borscht Belt comic.
Right.
The
Yes.
thing is, yeah, but I
That's
think
not who that is.
I
And so
think-
every
yeah.
character,
Right.
I agree with Matt. It's like, listen, I haven't seen Infinity Wars. I don't care. But no, I would not waste my time on that.
Waste your
Oh, my
time.
God,
Sue,
yeah.
it's fantastic. It's Sue to bring a tear to your
See,
eye.
it'll make
that,
tear in my eye
Larry,
most of my time.
that's timing.
Yeah.
You make it sound like
God.
it was planned. It was just a
No, but
I'm
it's
saying
funny.
is-
It's rooted in your character. You didn't write that.
No, I didn't.
You did it.
But getting back to the point, no, Sue, I think you should see it. It's exciting.
It's not about
It's-
that. I'm talking about the larger idea. Have one character that it makes sense in that character and it's in that person,
Right.
as opposed
Sure,
to
sure.
everyone. Now you've got in Iron Man,
Right.
obviously Tony Stark is very sarcastic,
Yes.
and
Right,
he's
right.
snarky.
That works.
and that works
Yeah.
because that's who that person is.
Right.
Can't
But
be
when
everybody.
when everybody's doing that,
Right.
or if the bad guy smashes somebody, and all of a sudden it's the Alan Alda line at the end of MASH,
Right.
you just sort of shut up.
Right.
they should put
Yes.
Alan Alda in the Marvel
can't.
Cinematic Universe.
Ant-Man.
I'm with you.
Yes, Ant-Man. Especially now, you saw
But
the
that's
second
made to be
Ant-Man.
that.
Yeah, yeah.
And I've only seen the first one. I'm telling you, I like that movie, but except for the comedy. And to
Well,
the
there's-
point
yeah.
where there really is a car that has the La Cucaracha horn.
Yes.
I mean, that's in a movie now.
The Ant-Man films are, I think, they are lighter though, and you know, here's the thing. I think that
But Paul Rudd is such a serious Shakespearean actor.
And if it weren't for the fact that he is so great, and
He's
he
great,
is,
though.
he
Yeah.
is,
He is
great.
terrific.
But the Marvel films, I think, still do an amazing job
Overall, yes.
keeping the balance, because also Infinity Wars in particular, that film, that's the ultimate combination of all of the characters. There's so many characters in that movie. It's such an intricate, delicate dance they have to do with all those characters, giving
Totally
all those
agree.
characters screen time. And I do think also that because the DC superhero films are always are
so
always
too grim.
they're criticized for being too dour and too dark.
Yes.
So I just think the Marvel films, they still have to cater to part of that kind of general audience.
But
you
it's-
can be funny. You can be funny because of circumstance.
Oh, no,
You don't
yeah,
have
sure.
to write the comedy.
I mean, like
Yes.
I agree though.
Right.
Like,
It
I
doesn't-
agree that some of the
it's
humor
schmaltzy.
sometimes brings it to a halt and like
Sticky.
yeah, I agree, but it doesn't. But none of it. No, so far though, none of that has ruined a film for me.
It hasn't ruined them, but
You
it
know.
has pulled me out of scenes because I went, that person would not say that. that
sure.
reference, that person wouldn't know because it doesn't make
Right,
sense.
right.
And it's unnecessary.
Yeah,
And
I think
it also would make it funny if when the comedy line finally comes, then if you didn't have, everybody, cracking wise all the way through,
Right.
then that line would be funnier.
Yeah.
Especially if it were
More, like you said, more character driven.
character-driven or situation-driven.
Well, you know what, Matt? I'm going to say this. I'm going to go out on a limb here. I because you're Mr. Comedy, and I just want to say you. No, you are. I'm like regular Joe.
I am Emperor
No,
Comedy.
I'm like regular Joe guy.
You're regular Joe.
When
See
I
at the water cooler.
When I
you're
watch
Mr.
this,
Joe. You're
Sue,
Mr.
Yeah,
Joe.
okay, Mr. Joe.
You're
Be that
Mr.
as it may, but it's like when I watched it, I didn't find it to be overly like forced funny. I mean, to me, all the characters seem to be.
Have you seen
Yes.
comedies?
I'm talking about the
Funny
Marvel
comedies.
universe. I'm talking about the Marvel universe.
Okay.
And the stuff that that's like Tony Stark is his way. You've got the Guardians of the Galaxy, they're their way, and Thor. He calls the little raccoon rabbit. And I thought that was funny. It's not like he was deliberately trying to be
Yes, it
funny.
was
no,
deliberately
he thought it
written.
was a rabbit, and I bought it. Listen, you're looking at me, and no, look at me. I bought it. Hook, line, and sinker. Okay. And it's like you didn't because you're Mr. Sophisticated Comedy guy. I mean, you're all
Wait. Okay, I just found something I really do take to task. Mr. Sophisticated Comedy Guy? Have you seen
Mr.
Matt's
Syncopated
act?
Comedy? Yeah. Hey, I'm not the master of subtlety.
No.
I will say, Sue.
I do.
What is getting?
I do campy Nazi jokes.
Okay, look. See, now you're selling yourself short. You have a wonderful
He
CD.
is a little short. That is the thing.
No, he's got a wonderful CD that
He's got good seed. Yeah, what?
I have
No,
good-
he's got a
I do
CD
have
that's
good
for
CD.
sale that you can purchase. Did you know that?
You can
And
buy
it's-
my CD.
Yeah, and it's got his
This episode of
he
Monster
does-
Party was
and
brought to you by Matt's Nazi joke
Sue,
CD.
he does this great. I
It
love.
wasn't funny originally, but
No,
Nazis are
it is.
funny now.
I laughed. Matt had me in stitches. His Captain Kirk thing, that cracked me up.
Sci-fi
The whole-
pet peeves,
That's
ladies
some
and
good shit.
gentlemen.
Okay.
That's what we're doing.
All right, let's
Okay,
make a list of
I got one.
my top gags. Go.
Okay, go.
No. So okay. So in a nutshell,
new
it's like
pet
you
peeve.
don't like comedy in films. Okay, great.
No,
okay,
I like comedy. I like good comedy. I like good
I
comedy.
hear you. Like when they were saying when the aliens were coming in, like you're saying, well, actually goes, they're in the room. They're not in the room. They're reading it wrong. Like this. There was a ridiculous thing, but it had something to do with that character. I'm with
Yes.
you. Okay.
Sue.
I'm over the computers with the screens that are controlled by hand movements.
That's pretty good. I like
I
that.
am so over.
Minority Report.
Minority Report.
Does that. It's kind of cool
and it's
though.
like this.
No.
It's like I'm over it.
Once.
Yeah,
Twice,
yeah.
maybe.
Right.
And they did it in Blade Runner. They've done it over and over and
Yeah.
over
Right,
again,
right.
where
Yeah.
it's like zoom, 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 and I'm tired of it.
Is it
I'd like to
is it
find
that you
something
you just don't buy the technology,
I
or
don't
is
buy the
it?
tech. Well, even if we had the technology, it's so stupid. It's just like, why not touch something?
Isn't it
and
like
move
it's like the Wii?
Why does it have to be
like the right?
And yeah,
That's a good point because, why would touching nothing be preferable
Well,
to
then touching-
something solid?
and moving?
Yeah.
it
do you
and
know how
doing
many
it.
times you know
What if
on
your
the
hand's sweaty?
keyboard?
Will it not
You
work?
know how sometimes on some laptops you have that keyboard, it has that little thing, and you may accidentally move your finger or something, and then something you get deleted accidentally. Go, oh damn it! What would it be like in the world when you're moving your hands?
I'm just saying,
Sue,
it's
I'm
like-
with
it's like,
you.
You'd lose
what if-
everything.
Yes.
What if you sneeze and all of
Yeah.
a sudden you blow up the
And you
work?
go, oh shit, it's gone. Yeah, no,
That's true.
You know what's funny? I'm with you. Now the funny thing is, I've heard Spielberg has said, "Hey, this is the future technology. It's out there. It's just right around the corner." Well, I mean, I don't know.
Believe it when I see it.
You know what? That's like when they said the Segway was going to change the world.
True.
Well,
That's a good one.
it is sort of already with us with touchscreen like laptops and even
But
the
touch
iPhone.
screen
you
is
know.
different from touching the air. Because
Yeah,
why
yeah,
would
that's
you
right.
why would you
Those
want to touch
movements.
the air?
But didn't they
Wouldn't
wear
you want
gloves
to
though?
touch
Did they have
a
the special
solid surface?
gloves that are connected to the?
Not in Minority Report. I don't
No,
think.
I don't.
I think there was-
I think it was. I think it was gloves, but they're connected to the Wi-Fi of the computer.
Is that
kind
any
of.
good, that movie?
I liked it. I liked
I
it.
like
Minority
Minority
Report.
Report.
I like
Is it
it.
good?
It's pretty
Okay.
good.
But I'm
Yeah.
with you, Sue. I'm
There's
not a big
there's some
fan of it.
comedy that you might not like. No,
When he gouges his eyes out, that's the funny.
No, I
part.
don't
Oh, that'd
think
be good.
I don't think there's.
I love
any
that kind of
comedy.
humor.
I don't
Yeah.
think there's any comedy in that.
no,
It's, you know
not
why?
really,
You know
no.
what? No matter what, Max von Sydow is in there.
Oh, I'm
Yeah,
there
he's
then.
great.
Oh, okay. All right.
But I,
Max von Sydow.
Yeah, no, he's great.
but
yeah.
Sue, I agree with you. The hands in the air.
That's a
kind of
good
thing,
one.
I'm
That's
not a
all-
big fan.
That's all I ask.
Can I also
Larry.
throw in?
That's all I ask, Larry. Let's make love.
Can I throw in with because I want to jump on that and extend
You're
that.
yes-anding?
I am yes-anding. I want to extend that to again in the Marvel movies. Whenever any magical character does something with his hands, there's a whole big friggin' light show thing with their hands to show that they're casting a spell, and sometimes it seems so over the top.
It feels like Disney Wonderland.
Well, yeah, it would be like, hey, what if you really wanted to win this? How about having less visuals? So
yeah,
the
but-
person that you're casting the spell on doesn't really know that you're
see
casting
it
a
coming.
spell on them.
See it coming.
Yeah.
I see the spell coming.
Right. It'd be the same thing with with lasers in a Star Wars movie. I always wondered, so you shoot a laser, they look cool,
And they make sound too.
and they
which-
make sound,
yeah.
but then you've got a direct line that goes back to your gun. Hey, I know exactly where that person is.
Well, but the sound thing, you're going to get right into the sound in space.
Well,
Oh,
but
yeah.
I
That's
mean,
true,
but I mean,
right.
even like
But
a
that's-
stormtrooper or something with shooting at Luke,
Right.
and those are better when it's a little bolt.
Right.
But when it's the straight line laser,
An actual real laser, isn't it more just a straight
Yeah.
line? It's not. It wouldn't be a separated bolt.
No.
Right. It's always going to be.
I don't
like
know who invented. Was that Lucas? Did he invent that? Who did the separated bolt?
I don't know. I mean, like in
Because in Star
original
Trek,
Star
it's
Trek,
straight
it was
line,
a line.
straight line.
But I don't know.
I think there was some stuff like that in Flash Gordon, but it's.
maybe, yeah. But yeah,
I don't mind that. I really don't. That doesn't.
This
bug
is from a
me.
logic point of view.
Okay,
Right.
I still
all
think
right.
it looks
That's right.
cool.
You're Mr. Logic.
I still
get
think
it.
I'm
Right.
now Mr.
It does look cool.
Make up your mind. I'm
You're
either.
either Mr. Comedy or Mr. Logic.
Thank
I don't know
you.
where we fall.
I literally can't be both.
I mean, logically, I think you're Mr. Comedy.
Okay,
But when I think of comedy, I think you might be Mr. Logic.
but this is great. So Sue, we agree. Moving on to Sean. The thing in the hand's great.
Okay, well, this is kind of like in general, like action sci-fi movies, which I don't know if we touched upon this yet, but when you have not superheroes, but regular people, human beings, no superpowers, that have fights that in any normal real world, these people will be dead from what they're doing to each other in a
Well,
fight.
that's every action movie.
Yeah,
on
but I
the
mean, but it's
planet.
gone to the point where it's just ridiculous. Like Captain America, I buy it. He's super strong.
He's
but when you
super strong.
when you see a Tom Cruise movies or like, I mean, this is I guess more fantasy horror. But like in the Mummy, the new Mummy movie, Tom Cruise is like bashed around, thrown through walls, and by
it
the
a
mummy
Mummy movie?
by the mummy chick so much. It's just but he's not like he's not a superhero. Like he would be dead.
Right.
Just any kind of like movies, in the Star Trek movies too, and there's fights, and it's just like it's ridiculous. Like to the point
Yeah,
where
but when they get on the holodeck with Worf, they barely survive that.
yeah, right.
Well, and also too, when I think about, so I'm coming up to bed in the middle of the night, I'm watching TV.
Yeah.
Wife's already asleep. I get up. I'm walking upstairs. It's dark.
Yeah.
Get to the edge of the bed.
Let me
We
hold
got
it.
a new
Let me
bed.
visualize it. Yeah.
We got a little corner on it.
right.
I hit that shin real hard. And
Yeah.
I go down.
Yeah,
I go down.
right.
So the idea of being hit repeatedly and thrown into the window of a car,
Yeah, right.
and all that, all you have to do is just hit me right in that shin, and I'm down.
Right.
And that's the action movie I want to see, where there's a big fight, and somebody put something low near the shin, and they go, oh, I go right down.
Right.
Like, oh, that's all we needed.
And if he's like a larger than like Vin
Achilles
Diesel.
shin.
Achilles.
Yeah,
shin.
like Vin Diesel or Dwayne Johnson. Okay, to a
Vin
point,
Diesel?
goodbye. But like,
Full
There he is
circle.
again.
yeah, but like, still, it's like there's got to be.
Well,
there's
did
not-
they ever
there's not
try
much-
to hit anyone in the?
But that's not sci-fi. Those are those action movies.
Right.
But that can
there's
be
a-
sci-fi too, though.
But Sean, I mean, yeah, come on. There has to be a little element of drama to make you enjoy it and have it be fun and exciting.
It's superheroes. I get it.
Yeah.
But even in an action movie, how come no one ever tries to hit someone in the funny bone? Because that's the other
Right,
one too.
right,
That'll take
right.
you right down.
Well, why not just kick them in the balls?
Well, yeah.
But even going back to superheroes, the first season, maybe it was the first couple episodes of Daredevil, there's this great scene
Those were some good
where-
fights in the beginning.
where he fight. It's like all in one shot, and he like takes out all these like Russian guys,
But he gets
but
fucked up,
he's
too.
like fucking exhausted by it.
Yeah,
That
that's
was kind of
pretty good.
cool.
That was
kind of being a little more
and
realistic.
I want more. I agree with you. I want more like that. I want
Yeah.
to see the toll that it takes because once again, it makes me feel it more. It makes it more rooted in reality.
You know what? I will say this. It's not really science fiction, but in the first in Raiders of the Lost Ark, when you watch Indiana Jones go through his battles, his body gets beaten up,
that I
and there's a
like, yeah.
scene where he's taking off his shirt. He's in so much pain,
Right, yeah,
and
that I
his
like.
lip is bleeding and stuff, and he's got
Right.
bumps on his head and stuff. And I buy it. I buy that,
Yeah,
and I get
I
it. I
agree.
get it, Sean. When you get to that superhero part, and you have the battle where it's guys getting thrown through walls, and there's no possible
get
way.
numb.
You know,
Right,
I
right.
get. However, I will say, when you watch something like, whether it's the latest Tom Cruise film, and he's getting thrown around in the bathroom and breaking stuff, it's kind of exciting and fun to watch. But I'm not going to say that it bugs me. It's not necessarily a pet peeve because it's fun and exciting to watch. I mean, I know he's stronger than. It's supposed to be.
Yeah.
He's like superhero like.
Well, he's a Scientologist,
right.
so that adds to his
Once
super
you're clear,
That's
strength.
true.
you can take a lot of hits to the balls.
But
He's been cleared.
but
L.
that-
Ron Hubbard says he's strong.
But that is a pet peeve of yours.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
I'd like to see it. I'd like to see it's
or as he likes to say,
realistic.
LRH.
Okay, that's great. But I've got something. I've
right,
got a
what
pet
do you-
peeve.
what do you got?
Okay,
What do you got?
Oh, you got, he just moved on from you, Sean. Punch him. See if you can take it.
Hit him in the shin. Hit him in the shin.
I'm sorry. Were you
Yeah.
done?
Yes, I'm
Yeah,
done.
yeah.
Okay,
Push
okay.
over his chair. See how he survives
See,
that.
Sue,
Make him
he
walk
was
upstairs.
done. Okay. All right. So look, when we're watching, whether it be The Martian or Prometheus or Star Trek or Star Wars, we see all these characters go through life in all these different ways. Okay, but why is it? In all this science fiction world, do we never see a restroom? Pet peeve. Okay,
Because we don't want to?
In Star Trek,
I think technically that would be pet peeve.
very okay. No. But it's
Mrs. Comedy.
Okay, but listen, in Star Trek,
Thank you,
in
Mr.
classic
Comedy.
Star Trek, in each person's little room was like, well, where's the science? Where's the toilet? And then also in Star Wars, in Princess Leia's little security area, it's like she's lying on a shelf. There's like, well, where is she gonna pee?
She's a princess.
No,
She doesn't go to the
but
bathroom.
it's like,
Princesses don't
she's in a cell, Sue.
She's been holding it since Alderaan.
Where is she going to go to the bathroom? And get this.
There's
and
not enough moisture on Tatooine to even form a ship.
So in 2001, A Space Odyssey, we actually see there's a scene where Dr. Floyd,
Floyd, right? Yeah, I know you're talking about.
He actually says zero gravity toilet. He looks and goes, oh, he has to read the instructions, and it's like, oh, thank goodness, here's a sci-fi film that actually addresses the issue.
Well, your favorite film, your all-time favorite film, The Martian, is all about pooping on potatoes.
But yes,
true.
it's great because they actually have, the poop is sealed. Each poop is individually sealed. I want to say for freshness.
Now, technically, does that make them twice baked potatoes? Anyone?
But don't you guys find it curious? Don't you find
Second show at
James,
11.
James, don't you find it curious or interesting that it's like, where is the restroom?
Okay. What did Spock see floating in the toilet?
I don't know.
The captain's log.
That's our show.
Thank you so much. By the way, enjoy the veal.
Okay, am I the only one? Am I the only one?
No,
that's
I
never
like
thought
that.
about this?
I like that. You know,
That's a
hey,
pet
do you
peeve.
remember this?
Listen,
Wait a minute.
I'm on board, but then again,
Wait,
I don't want to think
Larry.
about Princess Leia's taking a poop.
No, I do.
But you want no
Very badly.
Okay,
Toilet cam,
Sue,
Yeah.
toilet cam.
Sue,
I see sort of a Danny Thomas.
No, come on. That's a rumor.
Why
That's a
is
rumor.
Princess Leia
Come on, no. And
Why
look,
is there
I'm not saying.
more in sci-fi?
Look,
Why is there a
Sue,
glass
I am not
dining
saying.
table in here?
Sue, I'm not saying that I want to see her go to the bathroom. I'm saying if you see
get
her
it.
on the
I'm
shelf,
clear.
there should be like a little hole or a little toilet seat or something
Larry,
that shows
Larry.
it's like it's prison.
How about
You know,
like a-
this is what
Larry,
prison's like.
Larry.
Yes.
Do you remember the Star Trek Enterprise blueprints
Yes, I do.
that they put out?
I know where you're
Yes.
going.
back in the 70s.
Yep.
I have,
I
a set
have
of
them.
those.
I have those.
In those blueprints, they show where the restrooms are.
Really? Where are they?
Yes, they do. They're like off to the side. It's like where you would expect them to be.
Right.
But they're on the bridge. There's a little door. And you
Really?
Go and
Yeah, you just have to go through the women's lingerie department on the three. And
I would
pass
just
through that.
I would have it transported out of my colon.
That's true.
Scotty,
See,
go.
see, I thought that's what Sue was going to argue. She's going to, well, Larry, in space and in the world of science fiction, they
Why
don't
am I
need
the
to-
dumb guy?
No. I know. You're the genius person. You're the genius. You're saying
I
it's the
thought
world-
Sue was gonna make the dumb
No,
argument.
you're saying it's the world of science fiction. It's like you just press a little button in your room, it beams out of you or something.
Well,
you
no,
know?
you should have, Larry. In Star Wars, it could be like a toilet droid that just floats around.
That hovers.
He goes, "Bah, bah,
And for
bah."
James,
opens
it
its mouth.
hovers right up your asshole.
See, no, guys.
I'm
listen.
C390.
No, guys.
Human toilet.
No, this is the
Sidebar.
future. They're going to make things convenient for people. It's going to be nice and soft and
You're going to
easy.
tell
and
me a
warm.
droid up your asshole isn't convenient?
You know, have you ever been to Japan? You know how in Japan they have the most sophisticated toilets there. They have all these little buttons. You can press a button and it sprays water, or it
have
has
them
a
here.
heated
Oh,
seat.
a Japanese toilet droid.
No,
Yes.
Plays music.
Plays music. It makes a
you're
little
next.
noise so you don't
Okay.
hear the
All right.
pooping.
I'm just saying
But
that was a pet
I
peeve.
I understand.
I like
your pet
it.
And I'm
peeve,
not
though.
saying you actually show the act. It's like you just want
you
to
have to
acknowledge
make
acknowledge
reference.
it.
Make reference.
I would have
to.
loved to have seen Picard come out with the little bit of toilet paper on his foot.
Engage.
Larry, was this a pet peeve of yours before the special edition came out? Did you go see episode 4 thinking, wait, maybe in Leia's cell there'll be like a little chrome toilet in the corner?
Actually, no. This started way back when I was watching classic Star Trek. I had an issue. I remember it's like Uhura was in her room, and then you kind of look around the room. You go, where's the restroom? Where does she go to the bathroom? It's like, is it around the court? Does everyone have to? Is it like a dorm? Like everyone has to go out and use the bathroom down the hall? Is that what it is?
I think you might be a little too committed to this. It may be sort of, the idea that you've been thinking about it a long time might be maybe that you're sort of scatological.
I
in your
was saying,
fantasies.
look, it was pet peeves. This is something I've always thought about. There you go.
All right.
Your corner.
All right,
buddy.
James.
No,
Okay.
I'm
Okay.
with you 100%,
Well,
Larry.
thank you, Sue.
This is
Where are the bidets?
This is a recent trend for a couple of franchises, and
Okay.
from my memory, it started with the original episodes 1, 2, and 3 of Star Wars, where the entire thing was geared as a prequel to take you up to leading to episode 4.
Right.
This is how Luke ended up on Tatooine, right? So the whole thing is designed to show how Darth Vader came to be, right? And I didn't feel like I needed to spend 3 movies to see where Darth Vader came to be. I liked having it in my imagination. Well, how did this character happen? You know, Ben Kenobi gives a speech. He was a pupil of mine who turned to the dark side. Your imagination can take over. You don't need to see it illustrated. Well, in Rogue One, they brought it all the way up to the very first scene in Episode 4, and I rather liked Rogue One, but by the
That worked better, I think.
it did.
Yeah.
It did. But then by the time they, sort of escalated the drama to, oh, I see what they're doing. They're piecing each scene, each shot together to go seamlessly into episode 4. Okay. Seems a little gimmicky, but okay. I'll buy it because I like the movie. Where I really came to hate this trend, despise it, is in Alien Covenant, which is not a good movie.
No.
But Prometheus sort of led to Alien Covenant is direct sequel to Prometheus, and I would never recommend.
Who was waiting for that?
Well,
Yeah.
like an idiot,
Well.
I went and saw it in a theater like a Mama Luke, and I would not recommend anybody waste 2 hours on Alien Covenant. But I'm sure a lot of our listeners have. Its whole purpose is to lead up to how the aliens ended up on that planet for
Right.
the 1979 film. And I did not need to know how the aliens ended up on that planet. I did not want to know.
No, I know, because what happens is that it then sort of, in a way,
Kind of soils the
ruins.
It ruined the classic movie for me. I cannot put Covenant out of my head. I need hypnotherapy to erase that movie.
See,
from
But
my
I
head.
just
it's
discount 'em.
the writing it down is probably not anyways near as what your imagination was sort of wondering was going
Yeah,
on. And so
yeah.
you're nailing down something that was wonderful to imagine.
Yes.
Well, it's the whole trend. This whole trend at having to explain everything.
Yeah.
Like to
Well,
the point.
prequels.
Yeah,
Now
prequels and
that's a pet peeve.
Even like back to like Wolverine, like they made how he became Wolverine, and like all these movies. Like I think even like isn't the new movie that's coming out, The Nun? Isn't that like the whole origin of the whole Conjuring thing? I mean, it's like it's going back to like all the.
That
all
preview
all
was
the
taken off
prequels.
YouTube because it was too scary.
Wolverine is a good example because they spent way too much time explaining the origin of Wolverine, like 3 times.
Whereas
It's like,
you get the origin, you understand it. Like you're right. You don't have to see that
I get,
chapter.
I understand it. He came out of Hot Town.
That's all you have to know.
Yeah, he was spring breaking my heart.
X-Man, and as an X marks the spot.
But don't you think it's because of it's all about money. It's about franchising. It's about before and after. So they have to explain every single inch of it.
Yeah, every franchise is kind of jumping on that bandwagon.
And honestly, look, I guess I'm a sucker for it. You bring up a really good point, James. They didn't need to do it, but it's like they're gonna make it, and am I gonna go see it? Yeah, I do. I'm curious. They have my interest. So I agree with Sue. It is all about money. And
sure. But to the point where it actually
It's annoying.
spoils,
It spoils the original.
Yeah.
It cheapens the name of it.
That's
in a way.
unforgivable to me.
It's
like,
funny
fuck
because
you.
it's like when I showed my daughter Star Wars, basically what I did is I just showed her episode 4, 5, and 6, and I said we actually don't need to see episode 1, 2, and 3. There's no point.
Yeah.
You're fine with just 4, 5, and 6.
It's also like Alien Covenant is so that movie. The original Alien is so great, and the whole process of like the mystery of what's going on. They find the eggs and that face hugger on John Hurt and all that. The way that builds. In Alien Covenant, it's like there's just things in the air that you just breathe, and suddenly 2 minutes later, there's a chest burster coming out of you. Like it's so pointless. It's like it's
all drama.
It cheapens everything.
Just
Like, it just makes it
evaporates.
It's so bad.
Leave the mystery alone. It worked. It was beautiful.
And also, like, forget about trying to hook everything together.
Why?
Make a good story.
Yeah.
If you make a good story and it happens to be before Alien, that's one thing.
Yeah,
but
right.
But it seems like the hooking everything together is more important than just making a good movie.
But the mystery is what makes it cool. Like when you see that first Alien,
What is this?
When you see that tail gunner and like, what is
What the
that?
hell
Like,
is
what's
that?
going on? Like they don't explain everything. It's just that movie's great because it's so simple. It's like it's
and it's better if you don't know.
I would highly recommend listening to the director's DVD extra.
The commentary?
The director's commentary of Alien.
the original Alien.
And you have?
Yeah, I have, and it's
Really?
great.
It's Ridley Scott talking
with
about
Ridley Scott talking about that initial scene, and like when you see that big shot and the astronauts come out and you see them in the distance and those little things like this.
Yeah.
Well, the perspective and what they had, they thought they looked too big. Those are actually his kids. They made them little.
Oh, that's awesome.
But there's little things about that ship and stuff like this. It's not about explaining it. It's more about filmmaking.
Right,
but
right.
it was
And that's
really
cool, the
fun. And
craft.
if you love the movie.
Yeah.
That's also another thing, too, is that not everything has to be this overblown special effects shot.
Right.
Sometimes, look at when you think back and you go back to like the films of Mario Bava and how much he was able to achieve.
Forced
with nothing.
perspective and miniatures.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like an elf.
Yeah.
Yes.
A delightful film.
Yeah, no,
James,
but that's a good one.
James, that's
I
a good
agree.
one. Yeah.
I mean, I think
Matt, we're back to New York.
I did not necessarily want to go to this yet, but I think I have to because of what we're talking about.
Right.
And that is
Pet peeve.
a pet peeve of mine is the prequel Star Trek show that happens before the original series, the classic series.
Right.
Now, I really
They get
did.
it all wrong.
Well, I did enjoy Enterprise because Enterprise was far enough away
Right.
that, like, okay, I can
Like 100 years or something?
something like that.
Yeah.
I can buy why they haven't gone full velour yet.
Sure. I'm with you.
And they messed with the relationship between the humans and the Vulcans.
Okay.
And so that was interesting. But like with this Discovery
They
show,
messed with First Contact. They messed with all that, right?
well, that was Next Generation.
I know, but when they went back, they had contact before what would be First Contact.
They
no?
did. I think I'm trying to remember if they did link it somehow, but it was okay. It was all right. Whereas now we got Discovery, which I believe is closer to the time
Of Captain Kirk.
of
and
Captain
Mr.
Kirk.
wait. So Discovery takes place like between Enterprise and Classic Trek.
But
Yes.
yeah, but it's closer to classic Trek.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
And what my problem is that I would like to see, if you're going to do a prequel show, how about making the prequel show start to look like
the original.
Yes, and I think that would be something that would be really interesting that we haven't seen before. Because when I watch Discovery, it's a lot of overblown CGI stuff. I'm not crazy about their uniforms. And it doesn't feel like it even belongs within the Star Trek universe.
Right.
I would like to see a show where you get that transition, where we start to see the velour come in, where we start to see a little of the 60s. It's like, like trends repeat
Where
themselves.
all of a sudden they've got the beetle boots with
Yeah,
the
now
tiny
we're-
thing.
you know, we're back to
and I would
velour.
argue with you. I would say I think you could still do that and still give it an up-to-date twist.
Oh, yeah.
You know?
But that's why I'm saying merge both of them.
Yeah.
Because even with Enterprise, there was a part of Enterprise, which I did enjoy, but there was still a part of me that was going, well, this looks more high-tech than Star Trek did.
You know what's funny? You know what got it right was the episode of this season in Black Mirror when
That's right.
yeah.
it's a great episode.
Yeah.
Do you watch Black Mirror?
I do not. I know.
Well,
Matt,
I got to
Matt
tell you, this
so has
episode,
told me.
you would love this episode. But one of the things they deal with bathrooms,
Yes.
Larry,
Yes.
and they also deal with genitalia and sex.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it is what it would be. Anyway, it's the show that got it right was the first episode of Black Mirror, which is on Netflix right now.
Yes.
Of this season, it's called the USS Callister.
Yep.
Yeah.
And it really
No, that was
gets
great.
it. Yeah.
Really good.
I mean, from the acting to the comedy of it to switching from a character that you think is going to be the sympathetic character and he's really the villain.
Right.
Oh,
No, but
man.
it also got, Larry's toilets got in there.
Yeah,
a lot of
that's
other
true.
stuff.
That's great.
Yeah.
Well, I should watch this
You don't-
show.
No,
I think
you-
will like
seriously,
it.
you
I
would
don't know if
love
you like
this.
all of them,
I-
but this
but you would love
particular
this.
one.
Matt
Yeah,
and I,
yeah.
we've talked about this. It's
Black
like
Mirror's great.
But I think today's technology is just so hard to resist filmmakers and effects people to not want to wow you with some cool digital effect. Like I would love to go back to see something where they go back to the original Trek and look.
Just like what they did with the original series when they went back and they updated a lot of the visual effects.
That's true. I did like
They
that.
did a really
Like
great
for the Blu-ray
job
release.
with the Blu-ray release.
Just
and
enough to make it
just
look-
enough to make it look like something that could have been maybe made now.
Yeah, it just was consistent
cleans
with
up
the
all
rest
the
of
special
the
effects,
Yeah.
and you could do something like that and make a retro Star Trek show.
Yeah. Right,
and
right.
I would say that Orville does a pretty good job.
I like the Orville.
I really-
Me too.
I have not seen that.
No, I really enjoy it.
Is that more comedy or more?
Oh, it's more comedy.
It's comedy, but I will give
It's
that
truer to the Star Trek universe than some of the Star Trek.
absolutely,
Really?
absolutely. And I think
Reboots.
And also, they don't hit the comedy too hard. There's a couple.
Some of them they do.
Sometimes, but like it doesn't have to be a joke every other second. It's
Right.
actually pretty story heavy.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to the next season coming back with the Orville.
okay.
I liked it a lot.
Yeah,
Okay.
so that's another good one if you haven't seen that show.
But I've never watched Deep Space Nine.
Oh, Deep Space Nine. See, I'm surprised at that because that's like the Klingon show.
Yeah,
I know, and you know how I love the Klingons.
Yeah,
You would
we do.
love.
And this is great, but it's not really a pet peeve.
My
And that
pet
was-
peeve is that she has not watched Deep Space Nine.
Well,
right.
I just want to say that is a great pet peeve. We are now back in Sue's corner.
Wow.
How much does this go on?
Good
How many
segue.
pet
Topic
peeves do you
Nazi.
have? This
Nice.
seems like the pet peeves go on forever. How long is this podcast? I mean, people have
6
lives.
hours.
We're gonna do
out.
6 more rounds.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh
We've
my
gone- no,
God.
listen,
Okay, we'll do one last
We've
round.
gone around a couple times. Let's do another one.
All right, this one's an obvious one. Seat belts.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
You bring
Yeah.
up a great point.
I just, and I don't mind it in Star Trek because that's sort of where that is. I mean, all these pet peeves come with a little bit of where you're willing to accept them. I mean, there are different
Right.
types of sci-fi. There are sci-fis that take themselves very serious. That's why
Right.
we get so annoyed with Prometheus
Yeah.
that we send the dumb person to go do the dumbest thing and look at an alien life form and go, "You're so cute." I
Right.
mean, we
Right,
get
right.
dumb at that. Star Trek Bones went up to something like that and went, "What is this cute little thing?"
Right,
I'd
right.
probably accept it in
Right.
that.
Right.
So
Seatbelt seems like right out of the gate.
and
it's
Yeah, but- and-
what you would need
and
in a
the
spaceship.
astronauts-
And also, like, especially you're in engineering and things are blowing up and people just
But
standing
isn't-
around.
The first time everyone falls out of their seats when you go, oh, I think I have an
I
answer
think-
to this,
I think I'm trying to remember, unless I
and bolt the chairs down.
unless I
Yeah.
dreamt this in Star Trek: The Motion Picture. When they go through the wormhole, don't they put on seatbelts from their seats?
kind of.
I
thought they strap themselves in or
Yeah.
something.
Yeah, they
do.
do. They
Vaguely
do.
remembering
I have a vague
something like
memory
that.
of that, yeah.
but
But
the
I
whole
will-
movie have a vague
But I,
memory of.
but I will
But, like,
say,
I seem to remember that.
in Next Generation, though, they don't have seatbelts. You
Right.
know,
No,
and
they
they
don't.
have the
No.
comfy
Freewheeling,
seats.
just
They have the
flying
comfy
around.
seats.
That bridge,
you know,
I have to say,
You see,
that's a pet peeve of
Sue,
mine.
you were-
That
that bridge.
Next
you
Generation
just fly
bridge?
around that bridge.
Yeah, well, also it looks it's like a really spacious, well
Retirement.
decorated bowling alley.
To me, it reminded me of a
Welcome to
retirement
Pins.
community or something. You know, it was all kind of, you know, like little ramps. So make
Way
sure
too
you can
comfortable.
take little steps.
Yeah.
You know, but it's
What about
like,
the costumes in Next Generation? Like, what do you
no
think about those?
pockets? Where are you
Yeah.
going to put your keys? Where are you?
They got better as they went along.
They did
Yeah.
because initially
Yeah.
they were in a jumpsuit,
Yeah.
and then they put him in
Yeah.
a two-piece suit. But then all Picard did is pull us top down all the time.
Although some of the female characters look really good in the jumpsuit, I have to admit.
Yeah.
Well, don't tap into my pet peeve about how women are
keep
used
talking,
in
Sheridan.
sci-fi.
Do you remember?
Women decoration.
Do you remember the unisex?
Oh, but then there's one who can just beat the shit out of you.
I'll
But
say.
she's hot because she's got big old titties.
Do you remember the unisex
Yeah.
uniforms in the very beginning of the Next Generation? In the very
yeah.
beginning, there were unisex
Yeah.
costumes
I
where
don't remember that.
Yeah, they're men walking around that have skirts, little skirts.
Really?
That's weird.
Seriously.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah,
And the costume.
I'm not joking.
I like
Yeah,
that.
yeah, but that was a Gene
Men should
Roddenberry.
enjoy the freedom of a skirt.
I
You guys
agree.
don't know the beauty of a lovely, just something flowing around your
I'm wearing a
bare
corset.
bottom.
For obvious reasons.
But and I would also the other one thing I want to add as we're moving on is when aliens have the same technology that we have now, meaning that you can get into their computer system
oh yeah.
with a
Yeah.
cord that goes to your Mac.
A US,
Yeah.
a
You know
USB
what I mean?
port.
I can't,
ID4.
It's
Yeah.
that whole thing. You know, I can't even get my
Oh.
Mac to go to my Mac to
Right,
get
right.
a card.
Right.
To look at, then it's like, and that would be Independence Day, like when they fly
Yeah,
up
no,
and
it's
go into
terrible.
the thing and we
Terrible,
plug
terrible.
in,
It's terrible.
and they just download a virus.
Yeah,
You know what? No, luckily they
Yeah.
all were running Windows.
Right, and then you had the right adapter.
Yeah,
and
the
the,
whole
cord
thing,
and
yeah,
the
so
right.
that would be-
Even in a movie that's not necessarily that far out, like Gravity, when Sandra Bullock gets into the Russian pod and she can figure out how to operate it, and
Right.
it's like it took me longer to figure out how to operate my remote.
Yeah, but she's
Well,
Sandra
She shouldn't
Bullock.
have had a Russian remote, is what I would say.
Right, right.
Well, she is an astronaut; she's trained. Okay, I'll give it that, but still.
Yeah, and I think there are many systems are kind of follow a basic pattern. You know,
Or what about going back to Prometheus when the
We hated that
Well,
movie.
we
Boy,
love
did
to
we
beat
hate
up
that
on
movie.
Prometheus.
Prometheus.
Can't
Sorry,
talk enough
listeners,
about that.
but we just
When the-
hate it so.
when the protagonist, that woman, had the thing in her gut or whatever it was, and she went into this
Oh, yeah,
tanning
that.
It's
bed
actually my favorite
to get
scene.
it
And she
extracted.
pulled it out, right?
Yeah, she pulled it out. It took her like 3 minutes. It's
Yeah.
like, well,
Well,
she didn't do it
but the-
herself.
but the
She
worst-
did.
But the,
No,
yeah,
no, no,
she did. Well, she used the machine, but she did it herself. But the worst part about that was in the very beginning of the movie. Oh, they're walking around. What's that? Oh yeah, that's that medical thing used to take things out of you. It's like it just happened to be there. It was like
perfect.
they had to set it up. Oh, we got to set
Well,
this
it's good
up.
it was on the house tour.
yeah. Oh
Yeah.
god, it was so bad.
I always like that Red Dwarf episode where they get the luck virus
Oh yeah, that's great.
and they find this luck virus, and when you inject it into you,
Right.
you become the luckiest person in the universe.
Right.
So
Ooh.
they're fighting someone and they need a special, X49 coupler. Oh, you mean like this one?
Yeah, it's good.
Fantastic.
All
I
right.
like
Well,
that.
so Sue, seatbelts. I agree with you.
Oh,
All right,
yeah.
Sean.
Well, in general, there's been a lot of TV series recently, genre shows, fantasy science fiction shows that are like promising and good in the first season and then fucking drag you out everything in the later seasons.
That's a good pet peeve.
Yeah. As an
That's
example,
everything.
Yeah. Well, I've talked about it before, but like the new incarnation of Twin Peaks is just infuriating to me.
Oh, Pitta's going to have some words with you.
Yeah. Oh, really? Mark Pitta?
Yeah, he loves it.
Oh, wow. Another one, and this is one that really makes me mad because I really love the first season, but this latest season, getting on my nerves, and that's Legion.
Oh.
First season of Legion is great. The new season of Legion is one big, long, dragged out cock tease. It's the show is so imaginative. The show is so imaginative and so artistic. But
How do you like it from Legion?
I feel a third act coming.
nothing has happened.
Come on, come on.
Legion, come on, just
Okay.
give it
Season
to me.
finale.
All right,
Give it
all
to
right.
me.
Matt, you've been watching it, right?
I will back you up because I enjoy
if I have
it.
to see another scene of the Middle Eastern guy and the fucking Flight of the Conchords guy driving around the desert in that fucking convertible, it's like nothing is happening. Have you seen the Shadow King? Oh, I don't know. Where is he? I don't know. Where is he? I know what they're gonna do. The last episode of the season, they're gonna oh, there's the Shadow King. End of credits.
Yeah,
I'm
telling
really
you,
tired.
We were watching it and we kind of took a break from it because there was
'cause
so much
nothing's happening.
surreal nonsense
to the point where it doesn't make any sense.
Well,
I
it's-
had that with Westworld.
I agree.
second
I
season,
gave up.
it was the same
I gave
thing
up
for
on.
me.
I gave up on it
At
since season
Westworld,
1.
it's like, listen,
Second
I
season.
don't want to have to do homework. I'd like to be challenged, but at a certain point, also, if everyone can come back to life,
right.
then what's the consequence?
Right.
Well, and
It's just shows they're too clever for their own good. There's only so far that like all the movie-making artistry can go. It's like they're not. Legion is just doing weirdness for weirdness' sake. It's not even. It's masturbatory.
I did not feel that way in the first season, but
I
I
agree.
feel like that's what's happening.
I
now.
agree. The first season things
bit.
happened each
Yeah.
episode.
Yeah.
Half the episodes in the new season are just disposable. Like you don't have to.
I do
you
want to
don't miss
watch
anything.
the rest of it and see where it goes.
I
but-
kick myself because I kind of want to, but I don't. I mean, it's
Okay.
like I end up the last several episodes. I'm mad at the end of it. It's like
It's a little frustrating.
That's
Yeah.
a pet peeve.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there's too
And
many.
I'm with you. I don't like it where I feel like it's work that I'm having to do to get through an episode
I like
of
being
a show.
challenged. I like after you stop
challenge-
something that you think about it and you go, oh,
But that's
that goes
thought-provoking.
there. That's
Right,
thought provoking or something that sticks in your head. But at a certain point,
I don't want to feel like
I
it's
was
homework for a class that I don't like.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
I don't like that at all.
I mean,
It's my same problem with poetry.
right.
I could just poetry just drives me crazy. It's
All
like,
right.
will you just tell me what the fuck you want to say?
Okay.
Right, yeah.
I love poetry.
I know you do.
Okay.
I almost love it as the fact that Legion is a cock tease.
But it is, right? It is.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's an,
We'll
it's an
see.
artistic cock tease.
Okay. Well, speaking of cock tease,
Oh, what a second.
No.
no, well, you don't know what I'm going to say.
All right, okay, I'm
and
intrigued.
it is a little pet peeve.
I'm
It
intrigued.
is a little pet peeve. Now, just bear with me here, okay?
Okay.
Now, I do love the Star Trek universe, okay? I really, really do. And it's positive. And in Next Generation, they have this great piece of technology called the holodeck, okay? So they go in there, they use the holodeck to learn how to fight and adventures. Oh, and I'm going to put in this little story and I'm going to participate in the story. Look, let's be honest here, okay? Aren't people having sex on the holodeck? Isn't there like
Larry.
gunk all over the place?
Larry.
Who is the guy? Who's the guy who's the guy to clean up that shit? I
You're
want to
right.
see the scene where Worf comes out.
There's got to be a hollow
Bob the
janitor.
cleaner. Bob the cleaner comes out and goes, "Oh gosh, the,
But Larry,
the Klingon."
Larry,
and then,
I had this on my list.
Are you serious?
I'm serious.
Like
And then look,
sci-fi
look,
sex.
Who cleans the holodeck?
Yeah, you. Well,
I
I
mean,
mean, look,
that's not a pet peeve. I mean,
Here's my pet peeve.
It's the future.
No, but remember Barkley?
Yes, see, there's this. That's what I'm getting at. There's this great episode where this character Barkley, they're
I know
saying
who Barkley
you're
is.
spending too much time in the holodeck.
yeah,
and
yeah.
they invade. It's like you've got
James is the
Troy.
one who hasn't seen Star Trek.
No. You know what I'm talking about,
No,
right?
he doesn't. But go ahead.
No.
Okay. Just bear with me. But it's like, but Counselor Troy and Riker, they all go in there, basically invade Barclay's story, and then they see that there are
Right.
representations of each one of them.
They're in it.
And Counselor Troy's in this really sexy outfit. Of
course.
And she has these sexy lines, and Counselor Troy looks at it and goes, muzzle it. Well, it's like, look, she's got a sexy outfit. I bet Barclay has these sexual fantasies with Deanna Troy. Let's be honest here.
But winning all the characters. I mean,
Yes.
What's your pet peeve?
My pet peeve is it doesn't seem honest. It doesn't. I wanted to hear the holodeck's got to be cleaned. You know, you can't just go in and just have we just do practice battles in there. Dude, think about it. If I was out in
seems really minor
space,
to
if I
me.
was out in space and I'm by myself,
Yeah,
and
you'd
it's
be
like,
using
oh
that
man,
holodeck every night.
oh my
Larry.
god, come on,
Larry,
You're saying
will you yield the floor? Because I'm going to jump on top of
I
this.
yield the floor
much as
to my
I would
friend
do
Matt.
to Deanna Troy in the holodeck.
Yes, Matt.
But see, my thing with the holodeck, and it's the same kind of issue that you're having, which is that if you had a room where you could live out whatever fantasies you had
anything you wanted to.
physically.
Physically.
Right.
The problem that I have with the show is that, okay, we've got one guy on the ship who seems to have a little bit of an addiction, and his
Yeah.
addiction is so fucking tame. He's
Right.
like a Renaissance fair
Yeah.
with, members of the crew. It's not really that bad.
Right.
Where we know in reality that
Yeah,
the
that
invention
could-
of the holodeck would bring down the entire
It
Federation.
would bring out the dark psyche in everybody.
in
and
everyone,
like,
but no one would ever go back to work.
Right, that's true, you're
I
right.
see the point that they're trying to make. You know, whether you're playing video games, you're getting addicted to video games, you're not, participating in real life, and also in as much as Sean doesn't like it. In Total Recall, they have these. You go and to this place where they put the thing on your head, and then you're basically living this dream. And some people, they don't want to come out of it.
Right.
And,
Better
better than life.
But that's one thing. That's one thing, Matt, that I would say. One element of the Westworld TV series I did like is that, you make amusement park for adults. And they're going to run rampant.
that's the entire premise of it. Is that it's going to bring out
fuck
what
the shit out of all the robots.
Kill,
they're going
go
to just
crazy,
go fucking nuts. That
Yeah.
I liked because that's what really would happen. That's human nature.
But that's what would have been an interesting story in The Next Generation is that kind of addiction because
Like holodeck
the
addiction.
in that episode is so tame and
Yeah,
so
right.
there would be no way it would be that benign.
Let me throw something out at you, okay? Okay, forget about the sexual stuff. Well, what if the great thing about the holodeck, it's like there's no repercussions for it, okay? You go in, you have your adventure come out. What if you get a high off like killing characters?
Sure, right,
right.
It's
You
like
get-
absolutely.
slitting
Yep.
the alien throats,
Yeah.
or even then you got to ask yourself, my gosh, is it like this is how dark mankind is? It's
Right.
like,
You
I'm
never
just-
go back to work.
No, that's true.
and I thought the whole thing about this society you're moving forward is like man has evolved, but in a way, I think no. What in a way it kind of shows that man has stayed the same.
Deep Space Nine. In Deep Space Nine, they had the Hollow Suites in Quark's bar, and they were all about.
That was hookers.
Well, it was hookers, and you
Right.
could do adventure things too. But what he was
You're gonna
really
say a
trying to
hooker is
sell
an
was
adventure?
And
what's her name?
And let me just say something. Matt has told me about because I only watched Deep Space Nine for a season, and I said, it's not for me. But he told me stick with it, and Sue, that's what we need to do.
It's a great show.
We need to watch Deep
Larry
Space
and
Nine.
you and I should watch it
Yep,
together.
we should.
I agree with that, though. But even like an earlier movie in the '80s, kind of tapped a little bit into that, which was Brainstorm. Because in Brainstorm,
Yeah.
you get the sense of like it was like heightened sense. So, like you could
Yeah.
experience being on a roller coaster or going through any kind of adventure. But then one of the guys, puts on the helmet and records himself having sex.
Yep, that's right.
And then the other guy plays it over and over again. And
Yeah.
It's like he just gets addicted. It's just the whole idea of like a.
And he almost
Fletcher?
died.
Well,
Yeah,
there's
he
an
only-
old
yeah, he
guy,
was-
an old
is that-
guy who
Is
has
that
like a heart
Natalie
attack.
Wood?
That's
in
Natalie
that?
Wood.
Yeah.
It's a good film.
That was their last movie.
Yeah.
That was her
was.
last
It
movie.
was.
Yes, yeah.
Okay, so it was the holodeck. Just my issues.
I love that.
Okay.
Because I think they did so many stories with the holodeck, but they never did the obvious
I
one.
think they could have gone
which was
deeper
the
and dark.
addiction.
Yes,
And
deeper
I do
and darker.
think the holodeck concept, the idea which was introduced in.
The animated series.
That's right. It was
Yes.
right.
The holodeck was first introduced in the animated
I
series.
did not know that, Matt.
But like I always thought that's Star Trek, the Star Trek universe, kind of pushing it quite a bit as far as science fiction. Like that's almost into fantasy. Like just the technology of the holodeck
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We think
Well,
if they
especially
could do
when they
that.
had the whole thing with the Borg, and the Borg didn't realize it wasn't real, and they were able to kill the Borg.
Yeah.
That-
Or
there's a
yeah.
little bit of all of a sudden.
Well, what about the replicator then?
Well, I
That
love the
too, though.
replicator.
But that
now,
too,
if
though.
you can replicate, if it's replicator to table, like farm to table,
Right.
if replicator to table,
Right.
wouldn't you replicate a lot of other things?
What do you mean?
like
I mean, if
a
I
heart,
can-
like a heart,
if
a human
I
heart
can-
for a transplant.
If I can replicate a turkey dinner,
Yeah.
that's flesh.
Yes.
That's
Right, right.
this,
I'm with you.
That's animal.
Yeah.
That's all these things. Wouldn't you be doing more than just, getting yourself a smoothie?
Vagina
Yeah.
pie?
Yeah.
yeah,
Wait, what?
or just like
Vagina pie.
yeah.
It's a pie, but it's also a vagina. It serves two purposes.
Larry,
Both delicious.
it's vagina pie.
Okay.
It's a vagina
all right.
and a pie.
Okay, this is great. Okay.
So that's why they call it vagina
I get it.
pie.
I get
Vagina
it.
apple pie?
Sure, okay, so but
But
the
that's-
replicator.
that's a vagina
I buy, okay,
and an
look,
apple
enough
pie.
with the vagina.
I agree.
But
That's
the
why it's called vagina apple pie.
I get it. Okay, thank you. But
See,
getting
we're
back to the
explaining it.
replicator,
We're explaining it.
I get it.
We're explaining it to you just like Childish
several
Gambino.
times.
But a hot pocket is like a vagina on the go. It's a vagina
I
pie
see.
on the go, but
I
you just
see.
right.
So you go replicator.
So you don't have a whole pie. What?
I want a vagina pocket because
Look.
I'm on the away team.
So we've talked about the replicator before, and I imagine like in the replicator, it's got maybe like all this giant vat of like maybe it's like tofu.
What is
or
it, though? It's
something.
like- it's
No,
organic?
It's like tofu, okay. And what happens is when they say I want my chicken salad and coffee, and you press a little button,
No,
and it
it's
makes
chicken.
things all the little.
But that wasn't a replicator back then.
Did they
it?
ever explain? Was the replicator like an alien technology that they acquired?
No,
like, and,
no,
you know,
no,
I don't know.
Not aware.
They
Like the
I'm sure
Tantal-
someone wrote a story about it.
Like the Tantalus field. Tantalus
That's
field
different.
Yes.
was an alien
That's an
scientist.
alien
That's different.
Right.
But is that something you like, or is that a pet peeve?
No, I think
love the
I talked about the Tantalus
yes, you
field
did.
before.
Yes, you
where like,
did.
how do you see? How does it zoom in
See,
on the people that it's
'cause
targeting?
You're
If I
Mr.
was gonna
Science,
replicate
you know.
one meal now.
you-
What would I want?
Yeah, I mean, no,
Okay,
but
you can replicate anything.
anything.
I would like to get back to the fact that I think the holoduck. What's the holoduck? The holodeck. The holodeck.
It's a
I'm so sleepy. I can't tell you.
replicated duck.
What's the name of
Delicious.
those cars that they made recently that you can hose off? You know what I mean?
Cars?
They're like the
DeLorean?
shape of a box that you could drive around. They're,
I don't know.
Tesla?
no,
This is a new thing.
no,
You're
it's
on
not.
the cutting
it's like,
edge.
It's
The
just-
Adobe?
It's one of those little shitty.
Fit.
Yeah, the Fit.
The Honda Fit?
The Honda
The
Fit.
Honda
or
Fit.
something.
No, what is this?
I would like
it's
to
shaped
say
like it's very boxy.
it's very bad, but I would
for
say
surfers.
I would say that the holodeck, I believe, had the same technology as what the Honda Fit had, which was a car that you could hose off.
Oh, so it would
You know
just
what I mean?
clean itself,
As opposed-
self-cleaning,
it's
like a self-cleaning
self-cleaning.
oven.
Self-cleaning. As soon as you walk out, you say thank you, and you walk
Yeah, it
out. It does
sprays.
a little car wash
Okay.
action, and
I
then
agree.
blow
It
dries
disinfects
itself.
it. It disinfects it.
You know, I was gonna say a story. I was gonna tell a story, but I think I'm gonna save it for our nerd crimes episode. Yeah.
Okay.
So,
All
yeah.
Okay, but yeah, I buy that.
Guess
though.
we'll all have
That's
to
good.
wait.
Way to tee up.
Okay.
Well, okay. My pet peeve actually directly continues this conversation
God.
because it is about Westworld and
the movie or the TV series?
the TV series and the reason I don't like it. And
Wait, but you haven't seen it, right?
no,
I thought you didn't watch it.
I saw enough of the first season.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
and
thank goodness.
When I saw the trailer, I was like, "Oh shit, this is going to be great!" Because I thought, for all the world, all right, we're in 2017 at the time, and it's the age of virtual reality, and they've updated it to be about that. And when you get into that, the sky's the limit, and that's exactly what it should have been in my mind.
Should be VR technology
All VR,
instead of like
all VR, because in any sense of reality, and I know it's fantasy, but in any sense of reality, how can any corporation sustain operating a place like that? It's completely impossible, no matter how much each guest pays.
But now, what about the original movie, though? Because I buy the original movie. You know, it's like it goes wrong, of course, but they're physical androids, they're robots.
Yes, but that was before virtual reality.
But
now,
they're not
Okay.
sustaining themselves financially by what guests pay. They're collecting data, and they're collecting individual data, much like Facebook and things like that. So
Okay.
that's what they're sustaining.
there's an
themselves.
agenda
That's
behind
their.
it.
their agenda behind it is they are collecting personal data by putting cameras, all that sort of stuff. And that's the big thing with Westworld.
But attacking this from a tactile point of view.
Just wanted to bring in a little bit of little information.
Okay. I didn't
You
watch
guys
it
keep
enough.
talking. I'm going to go get another beer out of the fridge.
And well placed, by the way.
Thank you.
Yeah. But from a tactile point of view, the difference between doing something virtual reality and maybe having a, groinal attachment
Right.
than actually fucking a robot that feels and speaks and looks
For all
and
intent and
acts
purposes is a real
like
woman.
a human being.
Right.
Way different.
Sure. But for the purposes of what I thought would have been a more intriguing series, I thought virtual reality would have been the way to go. And
But see, how is that more intriguing? Because I have my problems with the show too.
Mm-hmm.
But the idea that you can be visceral, you can get in there and you can kill something.
But that's
or you
like the
can fuck
Matrix or something. I mean, the Matrix is,
But virtual reality, the way we would be able to carry it off now,
right.
as opposed to in the far future where, it's like the Matrix. We can completely immerse ourselves into a different reality. That's one thing.
Right.
But to be able to interact with robots that are like people, behave like people, die like people.
in the original movie, I bought it and I enjoyed it. I love that movie. In this series, I just didn't buy it. It didn't sell it for me.
Yeah.
And that's maybe my preconception that it was about VR. This season,
That's interesting.
This season, they
So it wasn't the show that you wanted it to be, and that's why you don't like it. Interesting.
No. It started that way, but then it could have redeemed itself, and it didn't. And this season, they get into like samurai land, and I love samurai shit, and I'm still turned off by it.
You know
it
what?
lost its way.
The biggest problem I have with Westworld is not enough nudity.
Really? I'll buy that.
Everyone, no, it's like it's endless amounts of nudity.
There's cock, though, finally.
Oh yeah, we finally got. Hey,
Right?
all right, sign me up,
Yeah, come on. We threw you a bone.
Mr. Comedy. Mr. Comedy.
Sophisticated comedy.
Sophisticated comedy. Matt Weinhold.
See, I do comedy that makes you think.
Makes you think about a boner.
On that note, Matt, it's your turn.
Well, now I have to go into this one because we've been talking about the robots and artificial intelligence and all that. So my pet peeve, all this being said,
Yes.
is that I am tired now of robots who become sentient and have feelings. Because we've done it. Now, there is a series that is great. I brought it up before.
Yes.
It's a great series. It's what Westworld should be. Because it makes it more personal. It's not this sprawling thing about a park.
It's like everyday life. It's like takes place in,
And it's humans.
Oh.
And humans is great.
Yeah,
It's all
good job.
about, we invent androids.
Synthetic humans.
It's on
Syn-
Sci-Fi.
Yeah.
Sci-Fi Channel.
AMC.
AMC.
I'm sorry.
It's a British produced show,
Yeah.
and AMC is showing it.
And
What's it called?
Humans. And it's all about, we live in this kind of near future where we have these androids that cook and clean and do all these kind of things for us, and we can have sex with them, and they look real, but they all have like green eyes, and there's something that happens that of course gives them sentience, and now they're like this put upon
They're like a minority in
they're
society
like a
now.
minority class
Right.
race that are fighting for their survival.
That
And it's-
sounds interesting.
It is.
But it's done realistic. It's not like it's just a very like a kind of grounded
It's
show.
done smaller.
Yeah.
And that's what makes it work. And
Kind of matter of fact in a way. You know?
yeah. And done with some restraint and really great acting.
Yeah.
Like the people who play the androids are fantastic
Yep.
because they are able to give you a sense of like this alienness, but yet there's still a humanity to it.
Yeah.
They really seem
but
like.
you're tired of them.
But I don't want to see another show like this.
Did you like Ex Machina?
Yes.
Yeah, I did.
But,
I liked
I
that.
really like that.
Yeah.
I did, but what I'm saying is now enough. Now enough. Look, if we were going to create androids, what we want is something that will obey our orders, not take us over.
And not confuse us.
Right.
Like,
But yeah,
this is
I always-
Android.
Aren't
Yeah.
there people who are saying we be aware of AI? I mean, didn't Elon Musk say that that's a threat that's coming, or someone? There's been people who have said that,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
But
Because no matter what, whether they look like us, whether it looks like a box, if it can think, it's much faster than you could even possibly think.
But that's different than necessarily having emotions.
Yeah.
And so the next, for what I see as like the next evolution of androids would be something that it just immediately takes us over. So it's like Terminator or which would be like the nefarious side, but kind of like Colossus
Yeah.
Right.
Or
right.
Demon Seed.
or Demon Seed, where the
iRobot.
idea is
Or what
of
about-
like we are completely logical beings, and we look at you, and all you do, humanity does, is just make a mess of everything.
Or it could be like Day the Earth Stood
Or
Still,
Day the Earth
where,
Stood
where
Still.
it's more like
Right.
they have power, but it's like they want to make sure everyone's cool. Everyone's, just
Right.
don't.
Right.
Well, or that they're destroying you to protect you from yourself.
Right.
Yes,
Right.
Yes.
But I see that as more likely than having a bunch of these that we would consciously want to make all these creatures
Yeah. To make
that
to
were
make
like
something look
us
so human
that would then
yeah.
take us over, that are stronger,
Right.
smarter.
Right.
Well, I think that so often in sci-fi, the reason why it leans to that is because that's the ultimate success in they always set it up.
Sure.
Because it's the
Right.
most difficult thing to do.
Right.
The idea that something could actually be a sentient being that would be human is the impossible dream, and that's why everyone's pursuing that impossible
Right.
dream.
And
I mean,
can a
you get
machine
one
have
that
a
can
soul?
Pick something that's 300
Right.
yards,
Right.
like this,
Yeah.
Right.
they clean the house, all
Yeah.
that stuff, but can it feel? I mean, data.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
But
Right.
but that's how long we've been doing this.
Yeah.
Right. Right.
With-
well, yeah. So
And I
this
think
concept.
I think the technology will keep moving forward because this is something that people are working on.
But I would like to see another take of, if you're going to do that story, somehow it has to be twisted. We can't have this thing of, now I have feelings, but you
you're-
can't have feelings because you're a machine. Well, but
You know-
what is the soul?
What I would like to see is the people who regularly host Monster Party become sentient and
Yes.
show their real feelings
that may happen someday in the
don't-
far
I don't-
future.
in the far future.
I think there's been
Find
plenty
your
of
inner
that.
robot, gentlemen.
Wait, we're not saying our true feelings?
Oh, Jesus, Larry.
See what you did? See what you did? You scratched at a scab, and now there's pus.
I just thought it was a nice little summation
Yeah.
that I was trying to tag on.
You're trying to end the
Wouldn't
show,
it
aren't
be
you?
great? Wouldn't it be great? I'm sorry, Matt,
So-
but wouldn't it great if everyone was his table was sentient?
Yes.
Wouldn't you like that?
Yes.
As opposed to the robots that you've been talking to for all the last few years?
I agree. And this has been great.
Finally,
No.
Someone.
You have been great. I mean, we've talked a lot about all kinds of pet peeves. I mean,
Yes.
I still got others,
Passionately.
and perhaps we could do another round another time.
Yes.
As a robot, Larry has developed sarcasm, which I think is a really wonderful thing.
I can't possibly be a robot because a robot wouldn't be as illogical as me, right?
But you're a secret experiment that's gone wrong.
Can you imagine?
No.
Well, you've been great. You brought up some great pet peeves that I share
do wanna
share
point
with
out
you.
that two of your pet peeves. One was where are the bathrooms. The other one's who's cleaning up sex in the holodeck.
I had others.
Wait.
It was bodily functions.
And come.
Poo and cum.
Look,
Hey,
guys,
who's
come on.
cleaning up the jizz on the holodeck? And by the
Sue.
way, where's Ahura pooping?
Okay, Sue, come on.
Didn't Burl Ives do that song?
Come on, guys. You're bringing this into the gutter. I'm just no, because
It was your point. I said seatbelts.
Listen,
That's safety for everyone.
No, I have. Well,
I didn't say
so
who
people
pooped on
don't
the
people don't
seatbelt.
think about the restroom. Oh, I don't know where I'm gonna go to the bathroom. Oh, I'm not gonna think about it. Oh, do.
Do-do-do-do-do.
I like that you have a going to the bathroom song. Do-do-do-do-do.
Guys, I have others. I just thought, based on what was said, I thought this would be interesting. Perhaps
I liked it.
Perhaps you
Yeah.
did find it
Do you want to do a
interesting.
lightning round?
Yeah,
without
go.
discussion?
Go.
Sure.
Hey, I'm
fast.
Go.
All right, we're gonna
Go.
do fast.
Okay.
Evil fashion. If I was an evil person, I wouldn't give it away by looking and be full leathers
And black.
It's like maybe,
Dressed in
maybe
black.
I just dress like Oprah.
Right.
Yeah, but have some yellows.
others.
Or
Okay,
Right.
no discussion.
velour.
Lightning
No.
round.
Space anomalies. There's too many of them. If you're traveling in space, the chances of coming across an anomaly in space
Yeah.
are like 1,000,000,000 to 1, right?
Okay.
Yeah, all right.
All
Yes,
right.
okay.
Okay. For me, it's why is it on the rock ships? There's always the guy from Brooklyn. You know,
Especially like 50s movies.
Yeah, exactly. It's
Hey,
like,
what does this button do?
Yeah, hey, where's the hot dogs
I
here?
miss my
You know,
gal in
yeah.
Brooklyn.
And
Where does he go to the bathroom anyway?
Yeah. Where does he come?
Come on!
Okay, James.
Jesus!
Constipated reboots that can't come up with better villains, like Zod in Man of Steel, or bringing back Khan in, what was it, Into Darkness?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They can't come up
true.
with anything better than
Instead of
that
a new
after 20,
villain.
30 years?
That's
Come
true.
on.
I like that.
Bullshit.
New villains.
Okay, stormtrooper armor. It never works.
Yeah.
Why are they wearing armor? Every time you shoot at them, they die.
That's true. You're right. It's going to be
never
made of
thought
plastic.
about that.
It's like plastic.
Take off your helmet.
No, it-
smell the flowers.
No, Sean.
You're right.
It's a special kind of plastic. It's like space plastic. It's,
Yeah.
You never see shots bounce off that armor. They're just so
No,
they
Matt,
die immediately.
right. You're right.
I always thought it was like it got in between the armor. That's what I thought. But you bring
Well,
it
then that's poorly designed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
Cover
how about
that
another
part.
one? Why
Yeah.
do they always find a convenient black holes?
That's true. That's like space.
Convenient black
She's
holes.
right
Well,
here.
space anomaly.
No. See, I
And
don't mind.
that's what I used to dance under. Please welcome to the stage. Convenient black hole.
You would appreciate this one, especially for Star Trek. Supercomputers that blow up very easily when when confused.
Oh, yes.
Kirk can outwit any computer. He managed to take the M5 computer to commit suicide because he was like, "Oh, but you're illogical. You have to kill yourself." Okay.
Why isn't
It's
he
like-
running the universe?
Yeah.
Also, why do consoles blow up like it's a CB radio? Or something? Like, you know what I mean? It's like
How about a
it's something
circuit
that goes off-
breaker?
Yeah, a circuit breaker on the ship.
How about a strip, a power strip?
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
all right. That's great. And to follow
What do
up
you
on
got?
one of James's, is I always dislike the goofy-eyed robot that they try to make it more human. For example, Vincent in Black Hole, the big
that's
bubbly
yeah,
eyes.
yeah.
Why
And
does it have the
also
eyes?
Tweaky. I mean,
Sure.
there's just others. So I don't like that.
Danger, Will Robinson.
No,
No,
that's a
that's
great
a good
That's
one.
a great
He
robot.
looks
That's
like a
great- He
robot.
looks like a
He
robot.
acts like a
Right.
human.
They don't have to put like
Right.
fake these big fake eyes to make it look like it's a human. Oh, it's kind of stupid. But anyway.
I like the one in Hitchhiker's Guide. I'm so depressed.
But that's meant to be a
Marvin.
comedy.
Yeah, I like that one.
James?
Well, all these alien invasion movies, mostly from the 50s when we had like the Red Scare, but why was there always aliens invading us? They were hostile. Why wouldn't the Earth people ever invade another planet and be hostile?
Because America is the only important country.
I guess.
Yeah.
No, but I think that's a great idea. Don't put it on the podcast. Let's write it.
But isn't that Starship Troopers?
Actually, yes. I was sure that there was some movies and TV that actually
But that's
did
not
that.
that's
That's
not
true.
a regular thing. That's kind of an
That's the
odd.
exception.
That's
That's
the
the-
exception.
yes, that's true.
Okay.
But
all
true,
right.
yeah.
That
Starship
we should
Troopers.
be going out into space as aggressors.
Nice,
Yeah.
James.
Right.
Okay, Matt, bring it home here.
Shooting a giant monster with a handgun. You're a cop on the beat. The giant monster comes around the corner. You decide to stop instead of running with everyone else and shoot your little gun at it. It never works. It's never gonna work.
It doesn't
Run, damn it, run.
Well,
It doesn't work for that cop in Beast from 20,000
I
Fathoms.
know, but
right?
understand, it's like you're it's like this is what you're trained to do. You take your gun out, you
Yeah,
shoot
with-
at the
with a-
monster.
with a-
Shoot
with a
at it
criminal.
once.
Yeah,
Maybe you're
And then go up. That didn't work.
Maybe
Bye.
he was trying to aim at the eye.
Okay.
Shoot
it's-
the antenna.
It's
Go for the antenna.
300 feet tall.
Right,
Good
right.
luck finding the eye.
All right. Well, I'm just saying. I'm
That's
trying to
good,
give
though.
an argument.
Run!
For it, but okay. But it is. I understand
Run.
your pet peeve.
Run away.
And these were all great pet peeves.
Yes,
I like that.
Thank you very much. This has been awesome.
Yeah.
Sue, thanks so much for being with us. You gave us some great pet peeves.
Here's your cab fare.
But you know what?
Goodbye.
Originally, Matt said we were gonna talk about technology that we loved or hated.
You got one?
Yeah, that's
You can
part
throw
of that.
another one in
Yeah,
there if you
go
want.
for it.
No, but I mean, I was just thinking about one of the things what you just wrote. I don't want to stop this, but let's wrap it up. But I mean, I was writing down technology that I really liked. Because remember
that
we were
you
talking about-
liked.
yeah.
Maybe that's a different show.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, save
Technology
it.
that you like, that you just go, oh, that would
Because
be
then I can bring up the holodeck again.
Yeah, I think we all. I think we all. Hands
Which,
down, we
by
all
the
agree
way,
on the
I
holiday.
just realized I
Yeah.
got two answers.
Yeah.
The holodeck was self-washing. It was also the toilet.
Yeah, you can.
Yeah.
You can shit in the
that's
holodeck,
it.
right?
That's
shit in
right.
the
Well,
holodeck.
yeah. You're right.
And then you go out.
all your bodily fluids
What
go
if-
in there.
what
Disappear into another
Yeah.
dimension.
Yeah.
What
right.
if you were that guy? You were that guy on the ship who only shat in the holodeck. And like, you know how much this is costing us? No, there's no currency anymore.
Or it's the guy that in the office is like, can anyone figure out who's shitting in the holodeck?
Every time I go in there to play Medieval Knight,
Yeah.
there's a turd in the middle of the
Turn
room.
it there. It's like, don't look at. Doesn't everyone have cameras on? And everyone's wearing the.
it's funny,
their
yes.
Hey,
communicators.
If I call up my restroom program,
Yeah.
I can shit in the holodeck.
See, and here's the thing. The thing is, there's one holodeck, and there's kind of a schedule of what people. They book their time. You know,
Right,
so
I
it's
guess,
like
yeah.
I think they would know. Jim is crapping in the.
I
But what are you
believe,
gonna- are you gonna-
believe on a
Yeah.
couple of ships there's more than one holodeck.
I would think so.
I don't think on the.
But-
and Star Trek.
Well, that's if you
Enterprise.
if you run the Danny Thomas program in the holodeck.
Okay, come on.
There's lots of
do we-
shitting.
This is a vicious rumor that started years ago, and it's like, no, there's no proof. Everyone's just, let's
See,
tell
my-
the James Bond
my
story.
scenario-
Listen, Matt, I'm just gonna go lie under the glass table. You tell me when you're ready.
What I would do is I would have a series of glass tables.
Well, this has been great. This has
you.
been great.
This was
Sue,
fun.
thank you so much for being with us again.
thank you.
As always, you are
Sue,
a fantastic
You
guest.
know how much we love you.
Yeah, this is the longest podcast in the history of man.
No, that's
No.
what we do now.
No. Oh,
no.
We go forever.
Yeah.
Now, is there
yeah.
anything you're working on, or
No.
Okay,
All right, great.
hey, well, Sue, thank
Yeah?
you so much for being with us.
Well, thank you,
It was
Larry.
so
That
great
was, this
having
is really
you.
fun.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I don't know about anybody else, but I think it's time for a round of beers.
Yes. I'm going to shit on the table.
That's right. Let's go. Someone fire up the holodeck. I'm feeling it going through my system.
Time for listener shout out.
Shut up!
This goes out to 2 listeners who recently bought the Monster Party t-shirt.
Hey.
One, Phil Ludovico from Monroe Township, New Jersey.
Phil Ludovico.
Ludovico?
Ludovico.
Cool.
That's a great name.
That's a great name.
Ludovico process or Clockwork Orange?
Oh,
Right?
sounds a little bit like
Well,
that.
maybe-
yeah,
maybe
Is that what it was called?
Well,
What?
maybe his family, is into science. Who knows?
Could be.
maybe.
But that is what it
I
was
think
called,
so,
right?
yeah, I think so.
All right. Well, sorry.
Also,
Phil, let us know.
yeah, Phil, let us know. Also, David Johnson of Hampton, Georgia.
David Johnson.
Gentlemen, thank you for your support. Hope you enjoy the t-shirts.
Yes.
And listeners can find the t-shirt and the Monster Party cap on our eBay store, which is Monster Party Store. Easy to remember. Let's also remind our listeners you can find us on Facebook and YouTube at Monster Party TV. Our Twitter handle at Monster Party HQ. Instagram is also Monster Party HQ. If you're listening to us on iTunes, please take a moment, write a review. We would love to hear from you.
We would like to hear from you.
Yeah.
And I would like to give a special thanks to our sponsors at Creature Feature. Creature Features. Now, look, they don't have a store like a brick and mortar store, but they're still around. They are still around, and they are. If you got to go to their website, go to creaturefeatures.com. It gives you all kinds of information about their upcoming book signings or screenings, or like they're going to have some kind of special art show. So go to creaturefeatures.com and check it out. You could also see a bunch of products that they're selling at an eBay at C-Features. All kinds of models and miniatures and
Cool stuff.
all kinds of great toys. I also want to speaking of toys, to give a shout out to Time Tunnel Toys. Time Tunnel Toys, located at 1583 Meridian Avenue in San Jose, California. And Joe and Sharon have an amazing store filled with all kinds of vintage toys. They have like the black velvet paintings and Star Wars figures, G.I. Joes, puzzles, comic books, all kinds of great things. You got to go
Glass
to their
tables?
store. No, I don't think they have that. But they do have a lot of
Just
other
checking.
really cool things. And then if you go to their website, Time Tunnel Toys, it'll give you information about their Time Tunnel Super Toy Doll Collectible Show. They have these every 4 months. It's a toy convention filled with all kinds of vintage toys.
it's better than a holodeck.
Yes, it is.
On that note, I am Matt Weinhold.
I'm Shawn Sheridan.
I'm Larry Stroth.
And I'm James Gonis.
Keep America strong!
Vent your sci-fi pet peeves with us. Just keep it out of the holodeck.
you get
her.
it,
You know that there's an actress
it's like
that has
chicken
herpes?
pox.
Yeah, it stays dormant.
It's like chicken pox, and
Yeah.
it sits
Chicken
in
pox-
your spine.
No, what's
like
her
that.
face
So
from Scarface and Witches of Eastwick?
Michelle Pfeiffer?
Yeah,
Cher?
because in Witches of Eastwick, she has a scene in the hospital. She has a thing in her lip, and
Oh, yeah.
supposedly it was really herpes.
Well, that's
That's
a
right.
different
That's a different kind of
herpes than
herpes.
than the ones in your twat.
Yeah.
Twat is the word.
Twat herpes.
Twat herpes.
Today's word is twat.
Yeah.
Twat herpes, as the American
Best and
Medical
worst
Association
sci-fi and horror
describes it.
twat herpes.
Yeah, there's a lot of poor Larry. My daughter's not going to enjoy any of this.
It's the new me.
Ooh.
Every episode.
No, but you can. It goes. It like it lies dormant. It's like
And that bounces.
And yeah, it kind of like
And it comes out and goes, "Hi, I am herpes."
And Sue, I have the
Howdy,
IMDb up,
doody
so I can
do.
look up something too real quick if we forget something. And
Oh, good, because
Yeah, I mean, I can cut out.
never can remember.
Yeah.
The things,
That actress.
the people that do
Yeah.
the things
Yeah.
on the place. So I'm. Hello.
there was something really
Test,
important.
test.
I wanted
can't-
to
I can't hear
discuss,
myself.
And it is totally. It's
Am I good?
like
Okay.
Welcome to my world.
I've got nothing.
Yeah.
I really have nothing.
It's the 50s.
No.
It's the
I have a
50s.
list. It has nothing to do with the show.
No, but I know that feeling now where
But
you
it's
walk.
important.
Yeah.
It was because
But you
you
can-
were here. You were here, and I had something very special or important. and
Carrie lost a cocktail.
What?
She did. She made a cocktail, put it down. We didn't find it until like 2 days later. And I'm like, oh, hey, Matt, there it is. It was like we found a lost puppy. Have you seen this cocktail? And there he was.
Okay,
Adorable.
It's adorable,
It
isn't
is
it?
adorable.
It'll be much more adorable when she forgets what the bathroom is. It's not the bed.
Well, I've done that. Seriously.
Good night, nurse.
Yeah.
Okay,
Didn't we
I-
ever tell you the story of me pissing on the coffee table in my
Yeah.
sleep? Yeah. So it can happen.
That's nice.
I didn't have a dream where I was like going to the bathroom.
Now, normally you leave.
It was a fugue state, as they say.
Now, normally you leave a cup of water on the coffee table for the cat. Was it you went out and you said, "There's
You
the
know what?
toilet," and I
I haven't
Do you
clarified with
leave
Carrie.
a cup of water for the cat?
Yeah. Since they were kittens,
Blue jumps up and drinks
We put a
from it.
little glass of water, and and we've tried to now wean them back to a bowl,
no,
and they won't have it. They like
Yeah.
they
Yeah,
like
they-
the cup.
Well, yeah, they're conditioned now.
Yeah.
I always had that cup full. I always,
You're a good-
I
he was taking care of our
fresh,
cats.
fresh water.
Yeah, no.
Fill it all the way up there.
They love you.
And I put the cup up there.
Oh, they talk about you a lot.
Yeah. There's a series of thank you letters that are.
Yeah, they're
No.
good cats. We had a good time.
Yeah,
we had a good
and
time.
Frankenstein, if you were staying around like in the house overnight, he would warm up to you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But it's just because you come and go, he was
Yeah.
like, "What the fuck is this?" And especially after the move, it's
Yeah,
like
yeah,
I don't want any more things or people in my life that are going to let me down.
Yeah.
Oh, wait a minute, that's me talking.
That's you.
Should we start it?
Yeah, well, I don't know.
Are we good?
Well, do you have any questions?
Levels are good? Or
I
what?
have no
do-
questions whatsoever.
I think everyone's level sounds delicious.
All right.
Hello.
Yeah, how do you like that?
Pet peeves.
Pet,
Pet
peeves. Pet peeves.
Wait. Wait a minute.
Particular
It's not just
peevish
pet
people.
Pernicious pet
Sci-fi.
peeves.
Aha.
Sci-fi.
Because
and fantasy.
I would have
and-
like flipped out if it
No,
was
no,
just
no,
pet
no,
peeves.
no.
Then I'm like, oh,
It's pet peeves in general in life.
We're gonna,
you know.
Yeah.
we're gonna get to
Peanut
those
butter.
pet peeves.
Peanut butter. What's
that's a different
That's our
show.
bonus segment.
That's a different show.
Where we all just sit around and bitch about stuff.
Yeah, life.
That's our spin-off podcast.
All right, we're back and we're bitching.
But seriously though, no.
Welcome to Stick in My Ass.
No. See, no one really wants to hear that. What, you want to listen to these people like bitch about stuff when I'm listening?
Some people do.
No. Because it's like if I'm listening to this, like I don't want to listen to your problems. I got problems of my own.
All
When
right, I'm going to go get another beer.
You need get another beer.
I am. I just
Was it me?
And if we're going to do the slow your roll here, that's okay.
No, when you get back,
Yeah,
you
we're-
got your fresh beer.
Yeah.
Boom.
Bang. We will start.
Wow, I've never seen her this angry.
It's me.
But it's
It
true
is.
that
She
I
just
think,
she does not like the new you.
Yeah. Well.
Rubbing her the wrong way.
Yeah. Well.
Yeah.
Maybe things will change when we get going. Here.
Or it's sexual tension.
No.
No, that's me. I'm just no. It's not even that. It's
You know,
it's
you would-
just tension.
tension period?
And Shawn Sheridan still alive.
Yay!
What is it, week 4?
You know, I do have to say this, Sean, again, I must apologize to you. Now that you've explained in detail and how
Yeah,
graphical
before we
stuff, I
before
thought,
we went on the air,
it's like, he's
You
going to be
can't
fine.
imagine. No,
Huh?
You were
No,
so
no.
close to being Shaun of the Dead.
Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah.
Nice. On point. As Sue drinks 2 beers at once. They said it couldn't be done.
Nice.
No, we
Who's ready?
got to do the intro and all that
Yeah.
nonsense. Okay.
So you remember Sue? He's gonna do his
We're
funny
Monster
little-
Party. That's Matt.
Just sit down.
I'm Sean.
It basically, when Matt introduces you, that's when we'll go to town.
And have you noticed that James is hiding his notes?
Again?
Look.
Again?
James is afraid that we're going to look at his notes.
And cheat.
and
I'm
cheat
gonna,
off them.
I'm gonna.
There's no room on the table.
There's
Yes, there is.
Look, okay. Look at this. I'm gonna scoot over. I'm
There
gonna
you go.
There. Look. Oh, look
Okay,
at your
yeah.
elbow
Okay.
room. Oh my god.
Wow, what a
No,
stupid
I
list.
understand. I like it. I like your notes being. I like it. I think you're right.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
But doesn't that mean it's like there's a lack of trust?
Yeah, I don't trust you fucks at all. Let's go.
All right, let's go. Let's do it.
All right.
Hogan. God, those are funny.
Yeah, that and Sanford and Son.
You were saying this. I got to go back to that.
I mean, they're just they are what they are. but
I
they're-
liked them at the time.
Yeah.
But you know what's really funny that we've been going through is Barney Miller.
Oh no, Barney Miller is fantastic.
Like genius.
That's a genius show. It really
And what's
is.
funny is that, you get rid of a character like Fish, who was so popular.
Oh.
And then you replace him with Dietrich,
Yeah, he was
Steve
just
Landesberg.
great in a different way.
who is, I think, even funnier.
I loved him.
So did I.
He was
so great. And the writing for him got better and better. Like, you could tell in the beginning, they were like, I'm not sure what to do with you.
right.
Do you remember there was this one particular episode where they pick up this guy, forget what his crime was, and he says, "Look, I've been to the future. I've got, and they're all whatever." And
do
it's
remember
get
that
towards
one.
the end of the show, and then they introduce to Dieter. Goes, "Oh, "Wait, are you? Can I shake your hand? Oh my god!"
remember
And
that.
he goes, "Oh my god, I can't believe I'm so thrilled." And they take him out, and then Dieter looks at everybody and goes, "Hey, I couldn't have done it without you." And the way his
That's a good
delivery was,
impression.
it was not as good, but it was great.
No, that was a guy.
was
I
funny.
remember, what's interesting, too, is how many times they reuse guest stars.
Yeah, it was
As
almost like
different
recurring.
people. Sometimes as the same person, but often as different people.
That's true.
And there's one where there's a guy who they originally bring in, and he thinks he's a werewolf.
Yes.
Do you remember that one?
I remember that guy. And
Yeah.
he's howling. And
Yeah, he's howling.
It's hilarious.
And then he comes back and he's possessed, and and I think there's an alien one too. And it's like,
Funny.
God, I love that show.
Yeah, it's great. Great supporting, like James Gregory. As
James
Inspector
Gregory,
Barney. I love him.
How
He's a great
fucking
character
hilarious
actor.
he is.
Yeah.
he's so funny.
And he's of course General.
yeah.
The only good human is the dead human.
Yeah.
Like, and he's great. He was in he's Flint's boss in the Flint movies.
Sure.
And I love him. He's a great
Manchurian
actor.
Candidate.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's fantastic in that.
But he's so
great.
He's
But
so funny.
Isn't he also
Yeah.
Dr. Van Gelder in classic Star Trek?
Yes, he
Oh,
is.
Yeah,
That's right.
Yeah, yeah.
That's right.
Oh, yeah. That's
The
right.
thing, the funny thing about when Barney Miller left the air, they said it never made the top 10, but it was always one of those shows that people just loved, and it was such a great,
Yeah, it really
well
was.
written show.
It's what's great about it, which is kind of in a weird tangent of like why I like Hogan's Heroes, is that everybody's funny.
Right.
Everybody's funny, and
Yeah.
everybody's character is so strong, and they're such pros. Like,
Yeah.
and
Yeah,
especially
yeah.
when you get to James Gregory, who like anything he says,
Yeah, he's just
is
like- you just like
great.
listening
and he
to
does
him.
business too, in these things
Yeah.
with his
Yeah,
hands
he's
and
great.
inflections, and God, he's so funny.
Do you remember there's one particular episode where Fish and someone brings in some brownies, so they all eat the brownies.
Oh, no, that's
and then
yeah,
Fish,
yeah. One of the
most
they're
famous.
saying that Fish was like leaping over buildings trying to catch this guy. And Fish, when they realize that, do you realize you ate brownies laced with marijuana? And he's all, again, and he says something about it's a shame this has to be illegal, because
Yeah.
he felt so great.
It was in Yamana,
Uh huh.
where he eats them and he starts doing that song.
Oh yeah.
Like a bell that is ringing. God,
That was a good
one
show.
of the greatest shows. On that note, I am Matt Weinhold.
I'm Shawn Sheridan.
Casey Kasem.
I am Larry Strode.
Yes. If you have a pet peeve, dum dum.
Was that Charles?
This is Carmichael.
Was that Charles Nelson Riley there?
I don't know. Just came out. It's a little Charlie Callis.
Okay.
All right, let's try this again.
Blah blah blah. Okay.
And here, as promised, is your bonus G-Fest 2018 moment. Please forgive some of the sound quality. There were some ghosts in the machine. Enjoy!
So here we are. This is just like the show. It's just like the show. So here we are at G-Fest in Chicago, 25th anniversary, and we're so happy to be here. I'm with James Gonis. I'm Matt Weinhold,
And I'm James Gonis.
and we are just exploring the country, the vast country that is this convention. And who do we run into but one of our biggest fans of the show? Please introduce yourself, sir.
I'm Rob LAURICH. I sometimes go by SHAWN SHERIDAN. But right now I'm Rob LAURICH. Huge fan of Monster Party, my favorite podcast.
Oh, that's very nice.
That's very cool. Thank you, Rob.
And Sean should be afraid because he's always kind of on a precipice when it comes to his stature in the show. And so I feel like he needs to work harder. And fans like this prove that.
He's phoning it in. You can tell. The fans talk about it on the Shawn Sheridan's phoningItin.com. If you've been there, it's you get that vibe.
Yeah. We get a lot of hate mail, and the fact that we get mail, period, is the odd part. But yeah, a lot of postcards.
Calling you clown.
No, that's Larry insulting Sean through an assumed name, but we always know it's him.
Sure. Well, he's still a clown.
Yeah. So you're.
Clown is a clown by any other name, Matt.
That's true. No, I've learned that lesson the hard way. But so you're here at the convention now. What are some of the highlights that you've experienced while you've been here?
Seeing Megumi Odaka, who played Miki-chan from Biollante through Destroya, 6 films in the Heisei era.
Miki Saigusa, who had a psychic connection to Godzilla.
Yes.
As we all do.
I got to see her speak, and then I got her to autograph I'm a huge fan of these 17 by 11 mini posters because you can put more of them on your wall.
Yes, that's right.
And I got her to autograph it, and that was like a huge thrill. And she was just so sweet, exactly as I imagined she'd be.
And you were saying she had some back trouble at some point?
She said she's had some health problems through the years, and apparently it's a back issue. And she was going to do 2 hours of signing, then take a break for an hour, and then come back for another 2. But about an hour in, she had to go up to her room and take a break for about half hour, 40 minutes, and she came back like a trooper and picked up big smile on her face, handshaking people, taking pictures.
See, I have to do that, and I have no excuses. I just go back to the room and have my private time, and me and Vodka have a word, and then we come back, and everything's fine again.
I like to get drunk on weekends and hang out behind the local Stuckies, and I give hand somethings for money. It's like a part-time job.
You sign for no apparent reason.
I sign anything and everything. We have hobbies, Matt. We all have our passions.
That's right. That's very true. Now,
Her was a highlight. Nothing will top that. That was the best.
eternally gorgeous.
Yeah, she looks exactly like you think she'd look. She sounds and acts. She's still that same girl. She's just she's older like we all are.
Yeah. But there's nothing wrong with that.
She's adorable, and she actually spoke about how her career is essentially the reverse of most, where you start out, say, bussing tables or working at as a checkout counter person or what have you, getting side jobs, and then you eventually get into the film business. They had a new talent search in Japan. She won it as a teenager. She did what was the first Princess of the Moon, her first film.
Yeah.
I can't remember what it's called. And then I think she got Biollante right after that. Essentially, she might have done some little TV work, but she got Biollante. Does the 6 films, got married, started having kids, and she said then she wanted to experience other jobs. So she got a job working at Mossburger. They're kind of local McDonald's. She got a job.
I've been there, yes.
She got a job as a checkout girl somewhere else, and she goes, it was so, and she's so joyous when she's telling us this. She goes, I got to experience all these other things in life, after I did Godzilla. And every time she spoke, you just wanted to like hug her and kiss her, and
I want to get her autograph at a Mossburger. I think because you're going to Japan soon, right?
I could get a clean wrapper, like just an unsoiled wrapper.
Yeah, that's it. Oh, how great would that be? That'd be amazing. Now we heard you are going to
the second one, so I could keep it in a box, Larry.
In a Mossburger box.
Yes,
nice.
Yes. I have a Mossburger box in a Mossburger box. It's still unopened.
Now, you are going to Japan soon.
Correct.
And what are some of the places? First of all, when are you going?
I will be leaving the last week of September and coming back the second week of October.
Okay.
I'm hitting a lot. I'm hitting about 6 cities. Hitting Osaka, 3 days in Osaka. Take the train over to Kyoto, 4 days. Day trip to Nara, come back to Kyoto. Take the Shinkansen, the bullet train, all the way to Yokohama. And then I head to Tokyo, stay in a ryokan for 2 days, get a little traditional experience. And then it's 5 days in Shinjuku.
What a great trip. That's perfect.
This is literally, like I said, this is a lifelong dream. I'm a lifelong Japanophile. And I pondered this. I planned. Like you guys have talked about that too. Yeah. Like your itineraries. Oh, yeah. I love you. Because a man who has an itinerary is a man who has a plan.
Well, you don't want to waste time.
Yeah, that's the thing is I'm in the phase. I booked all my lodging. Obviously the flight there and back. I'm flying into Osaka. I'm leaving from Tokyo. I'm even getting the little bonus of I got an hour and a half layover in Taipei. And then coming back, I've got like 3 hours in Korea. I know it's only the airport, but I don't care. I'm in Korea. I'll be excited. So now I'm in the phase where I'm trying to pack in as much as I can. What are all the restaurants I see online? There's a lot of 4K videos on YouTube of people who just walk the streets. They're like, here's Yokohama, here's Shinjuku, here's Akihabara, and they walk the streets. And now I'm able to track. I saw a video, an 8-minute video, from walking from Shinjuku Station to my hotel, where I'm going to be staying. So these are like how-to guides.
Somebody did that like on Steadicam, and he called them cruise, like Shinjuku cruise or Ginza cruise, and he's just walking around a Steadicam. It's beautiful.
Yeah, so those have become, I'm relying on those a lot. I've listened to you guys, obviously, because of your experience in Japan. I know you all love Japan. And all these other J-vloggers, as they call them, that I'm watching, and I'm just making a list, and I'm going to have it down to the day and hour of I'm packing this in here, I'm packing this in. Okay, takoyaki originated in Osaka, so I have to have that in Osaka. Okonomiyaki is in it. I'm going to have that the Tokyo version versus the Osaka version. My food, I'm a big food guy.
Me too.
I'm getting it down to food. You guys just mentioned recently about, it's not there anymore. The whatchamacallit bar. It was a pop-up bar or pop-up restaurant.
You're not talking about Kaiju Sakaba.
Yes.
That is still there.
It is still there?
It is a permanent restaurant now.
Okay, now this is why we need that list. This is why we need you to do a list so I can hit all these places.
Kaiju Sakaba in Kawasaki, big party town, working class party town. People get really wasted, and it's fun to watch. But the bar itself is so much fun, and it if I had to say that there was one must-see, that bar really is it. Because the food is great, the drinks
bar.
Robot Bar is wonderful, and I would say that's very close, but as an Ultraman...
Touristy now, right? That's like the tourist.
Yeah.
That and maid cafes?
Yeah.
So I'm debating that. I'm like, everyone's like, you got to go. I'm like, yeah, but I'm from America, and I'm middle-aged, and I don't look like a pervert.
Well, when in Rome, as they say. But
when in the circus, be a clown.
Yes, right. But the food at Kaiju Sakaba is so good. If you like food, I'm telling you, I'm
a fan of food, Matt.
Yes.
I do like food.
You look like you might enjoy food,
I do like food.
But I wasn't sure. Maybe it's not your thing. Who knows?
No, I'm not foodist. I appreciate food. I respect food for its lifestyle, and I embrace it.
There is an entrail stew that you eat out of Ultra 7's head. Yes, that is delicious. You must, it's a special, so you might have to ask for it.
This isn't hey, here's some gaijin, let's play a joke and sell them this food. This is real food.
I would be honored if I found out that they chose me to play that gag on. But it's a great place, and you have to check it out. But now, and some of the other, are you going to hit all like the Mandarakis and?
I'm still forming my list. Mm-hmm. And by the way, it really is food on the top of the list. Like, these are the specific restaurants I'm going to, and then maybe I'm going to hit some museums. I know they got great aquariums all over the country. I'm going to hit those.
Yes.
Samurai Museum. I'm going to obviously go, pray at the Godzilla store. That's going to be awesome.
Oh, yeah. And I was telling we didn't get to that. It wasn't open when we went.
I think I was telling James, and I just saw this in a recent video. Since you've been there, the Shinjuku area now has like Shinjuku buses. Or Godzilla, Gojira buses. It says Gojira on the side.
Oh, wow.
The little datacom thing has a little Gojira across it, and when you walk in the bus, they have a little plexiglass box that has like a model or statue on it. So they're smart to really point that out.
We so have to go back.
You do. Well, and I told James, I said, if there's anything you guys have found out that's new since in the last 2 years, since you've been there last, and you want, I'll check it out. I'm going to be jumping in. I can, scout it out for you.
We'll hook you up.
Do some recon.
There's a second Kaiju Sakaba that's opened, so you have to check that out. There's also a Kamen Rider restaurant that's a little more aimed towards kids, but who cares?
I've never heard of Kamen Rider to you guys. It's another advantage when you listen to Monster Party is how much I've learned. From
Here we are.
the people who came before you.
Helping America, once again.
I'm serious about that. I appreciate so much when you guys talk about films, and I sit there and I immediately, where I'm at work, I grab a pen and paper. I said, I got to see that. I got to see that. These guys are like my older brothers I never had. My older brother was never into this cool shit. Okay, he's a little bit of it, not a lot.
Yeah, same with my brother.
Same thing. He was more like, well, I like classical music. I like classical music too, but he's like, I like classical music and some sci-fi, and that's it. He doesn't like kaiju. He likes Star Wars a little bit, more of a Star Trek guy, but I like it all.
We're definitely in good company here when it comes to that. So when you go, I will set you up with a new list. I will also send you to some new places, and we will do that kind of recon. Now, here at the convention, here we are in the dealer's room. What have you purchased?
I have purchased nothing.
All right, well, that's our interview.
I'm a clown. No, because of the Japan trip, well, first of all, I kind of wanted to get a Gamera. The problem is, like with a lot of Japanese kaiju product, there's like 5 million Gameras. Right. So the first question is, which one am I going to get?
Right.
The next question becomes, how much do I want to spend? But what I keep telling myself in my head, instead of spending $80 on a Gamera, like a smaller size Gamera that I want, if I have to spend that much money, I'm going to get it in Japan. So those are going to be my Japanese souvenirs for my trip. So every time I see a T-shirt I want, I'll get it in Japan.
The problem with the T-shirts, though, is that in Japan, they run very small. So you have to be very, very careful about that.
I need your knowledge.
See? We're helping. We're already helping. When it comes to toys and all that kind of thing, though, when you go to Mandarake, there's a number of places that Mandarake is great for just one-stop shopping of finding stuff. And if you're looking for a really cool basic Gamera figure, you'll find it.
And they have great prices on second-hand vinyls.
That's true, yes.
Well, I'm surprised by some of the price. Some things are about the same price. Some are more expensive, some are less. Which one of you has the Godzilla bank? Did Larry buy you the bank, or you bought Larry the bank?
I bought Larry the bank, and then I bought one for myself, and it's amazing.
Amazon? I've seen them on Amazon.
They are on Amazon. I got it for not too much more than you can get it on Amazon.
I saw it on Amazon, again, because you guys talked about it. I'm like, I need to have that. Looked it up, saw it. They got it on Amazon for however many dollars. Happened to see one of my walking through videos, and they were walking through the Don Quixote discount store. And what do I see in a stack? There's the Godzilla bank. There's the yen price. I converted. It's the same price as it is on Amazon. So I said, well, then I don't need to get that there.
Right.
Because, here's a live question. What would you do? What do you do, Hotshot? All right, tell me what you do, Hotshot.
Riddle me this.
I'm bringing I have like a little satchel-y thing for my daily walking around.
We won't talk about that. Okay.
It has nothing to do with the trip. Then I'm going to have a backpack that'll be in my luggage for my day trips. And I'm bringing like the regular size, the largest carry-on you can have. I am going to check the bag, but that size, that smaller bag.
Okay, and you know the whole thing about having two bags, right? No. You put a bag inside that bag, an empty one, so you can then fill it.
Okay, therein lies my question. I was planning, because I'm like, I'm going to probably drop about at least $100 on Japanese Kit Kats.
Okay.
Then throw on whatever my geeky, nerdy stuff I want to buy. Then throw on, gifts for family.
Yeah, whatever.
Whatever, Mom. Here's your scarf from Kyoto that you're going to use as a tablecloth anyway. But there's that stuff. And I planned on, cause I went to YouTube, there's a video on how to use the postal system. So I was planning on sending a box back. But do you think it's worth it? Should I do that, or should I buy a piece of luggage there, a cheap piece of luggage? Or, like you're saying, should I bring a smaller piece of luggage and do the whole Russian doll thing?
Yeah.
The latter. You should do. When we went for the first time, our Japanese friend there, Roger Takahashi, he took us to a Don Quixote, and we got a nice cheap piece of luggage.
That, like, 4-story one.
Yes.
Like Don Quixote.
Yeah, that was great. It was in Roppongi. Yes.
I at 4 a.m, I had to go get a piece of luggage from that same Don Quixote.
24 hours?
That one was. I don't know if they still are. They probably
Did you sell
are.
your passport to get tax-free.
No, I didn't bother.
I just learned that trick. I think they are.
But yeah, I had bought so much stuff. I had to get a big piece of luggage from there right before my flight.
Can you get cheap luggage there?
At Don Quixote, you can get cheap everything.
And it's good quality.
It's decent, yeah. Yeah, it hasn't fallen apart yet.
Yeah. But
So that's the way to go.
that is the way to go. Go get your luggage, because if you try to ship it back, it'll be expensive. Whereas you're not really paying, most of the time, you're not paying for anything one additional piece of luggage that you filled to the brim with treasures.
About the international trips, that's what I did notice. It's not like when I go domestic, where I think you get like 2 free. You can check 2 bags for free and have a carry-on. Is that it? Yeah.
Correct.
Kind of standard.
Usually.
Yes, yeah.
So there you go. That would be I have my clothes, and then I have my swag in the other bag.
Yeah.
And I was worried about shipping it via the postal service, because I don't want it arriving like 4 weeks.
No.
Half my Kit Kats are gone.
No. The minute you get home, you're going to want to unpack that suitcase and just, yeah, right, put it out on the floor and then roll around in it, and that is the way that you have to do this. And I would even say pack a little lightly so you can fit a little extra in the regular suitcase as well, because that's the way I roll.
Well, luckily, because I'm there 2 weeks, I'm bringing basically, a lot of socks and underwear, a bunch of T-shirts, 1 nice shirt, pair of jeans, pair of non-jeans, maybe 2 pairs of shoes, and then I'm doing the laundry halfway through the trip. Because everywhere I'm staying has a laundry. They have in the hotels, they have laundry service.
Yeah, that's another great thing about Japan is you can actually wash your clothes there, and it's not like here where you got to send it to the laundry company and washing a T-shirt is $10.
It's not like China where they light your dirty clothes on fire.
I hate it when they do
I
that.
heard that. Is that true?
I've heard that, so that's good enough for me.
They burn it with incense or something. I don't get it.
All right, well, we've covered travel tips. We covered what you bought at the convention.
And we'll send you a list. We'll send you like a bullet list of some of our favorite places.
I hope you guys appreciate how many fans out here depend on your lists. I need this. That's true. That's why I get my old movies I haven't seen. I haven't missed that. My slasher film, never heard of that kaiju film, all that stuff. And now we're getting into the real world issues. I'm going to be going by myself to the other side of the planet. I'm trying to cram in. I learned I can read their kana. I'm working on kanji, and now I'm basically on survival phrases. So I need as much help as I can get.
Okay, so you're going by yourself.
Correct.
That's interesting.
The first time I go, I said I want to go by myself. I've never done something like this where I'm throwing myself onto the other side of the planet in a foreign country where they don't speak a lot of English. And then I told my brother he wanted to go, and I said no. But then he said, well, how about we go again next year and we hit Korea and China? And I go, well, I guess if that's the gift you want to give me. So I'm already planning my return for next year.
Perfect. And you will want to return immediately once you leave.
I'm honestly afraid I'm not going to want to leave.
That will happen too.
Unless I go at some nightmare. I'm like, all those YouTube videos, bullshit. It's like the moon landing. Kubrick shot all those YouTube videos years ago with fake Japanese people to trick people into going. They're not polite. If some nightmare scenario happens, then I'll cry.
But that's the thing is that will certainly not happen, because there's no such thing as like not polite. You can run into a couple grumpy old timers, but for the most part, if you have any kind of problem, if you look confused, if you need help reading something, there's always somebody who's willing to stop and help you. It's incredible. And like, forget about crime, unless you're hanging with the Yakuza, nothing's gonna touch you.
Literally I told my mom I booked the flight. She knew I was going. The first thing out of her mouth was, well, you need to find out where the American embassy is. I said, Mom, nothing's going to happen. No, you need to learn. I said, no. They have like almost zero. There's like 17 murders a year. I said, it's not going to happen.
As I've said before, if you walk down a dark alley, the only thing you're in fear of being assaulted by is adorable.
I thought you were going to say a vending machine because they're every 5 feet.
Well, there's that too. And that's another wonderful thing too, is that if you ever need a drink within 100 yards, it's there for you.
I'm not even a big beer drinker. I said I'm going to get a beer out of a vending machine because I'm going to be somewhere where I can get a beer out of a vending machine. I have to do that.
Because you can.
Get a beer, a freshly made crepe, used panties, basically everything you ever want on a vending machine. They don't do that anymore, folks. That was a
Rapungi.
Yeah. I heard all the stories about that. People ask me, like, don't they sell panties out of a vending machine? I go, it was a brief period of time. The government outlawed it for sanitary reasons.
Now they're
In
clean.
the red, now they're like laundered. Whoopee. If I wanted that, I go to China where they burn them. Back to that. Boom. It's called a callback, folks.
What I do now is I put my dirty underwear in vending machines.
In the coin slot?
No. As my drink is coming out, I just slip it up.
Japanese businessmen go, oh, sugoi! Bonus underwear. Nice.
I draw a heart on it, so give them something.
Courteous, that's why.
I aim to please. Wow. I really envy you because we've been jonesing to go back to Japan, and we just we can't wait.
You guys talk about it all the time.
Yeah.
Who knows? If you ever get a trip going, I might go on that trip too with you guys. If you ever get a official Monster Party Japan tour.
That's the dream. That's the goal. It could happen.
We would love to do that, and we are going to try to make that happen. It's just figuring out, the twists and turns of how to make that a reality.
Right. It was a logistical miracle we were able to go, the four of us. Work out our schedule so that we could all go at the same time. It was like a miracle.
I know what I'm doing for myself. I can't imagine 4 people trying to do that. I mean, I was getting like the sweats over the weekend that I finally said, okay, I have to book my lodging. And I did it in reverse because I know I almost screwed up because of the day flight difference.
Yes.
Where I would have arrived the day after I booked my flight. I'm like, so I did it. I said, I know I'm leaving on this date. So I booked them in reverse, then bought my flight there, then 2 weeks later bought my flight returning home.
We made the same mistake.
It was nerve-wracking.
Yeah. And if it weren't for James is the guy who did the whole itinerary and kept us on track.
Well, I've been dreaming about that for years. This is like from the very first trip I ever went to Japan. I'm like,
The guys who have the dream are the ones who plan the itinerary. Yeah. See? I'm like, I am not screwing this up. It's a dream.
and you know what? You're going to have a great time by yourself because this is the sort of a trip where you've really got to be motivated and you're going to want to see everything and soak it all up. And a lot of times, let's face it, if you're with someone else, they can maybe pull you back a little bit or you disagree on what you want to do.
There's no voting involved when you're by yourself.
Yeah.
I'm going to go where I want to go. I'm more of an introvert in a lot of ways.
You seem that way.
In my real life, I am. There's a showbiz side I got to push on. But I'm going to force myself to speak as much Japanese as possible. And when I'm with somebody else, that would just be awkward. Like they're standing there not speaking, they're like smiling awkwardly. And so again, first trip, do what I want to do, cram as much in as I possibly can, then come back the next year with my brother, if it happens, it should. And then I'll be like, well, what do you want to see? Here's it. You'll have all the pictures of everything I saw. I'll be telling you this when you come home for Christmas. And then it's whatever you want to see. We want to go to Hiroshima. He mentioned that. And try to get in maybe another city I haven't seen. And the plan was, he said, here's what I want to do. We'll spend a week in Japan, we'll spend about a week in Korea, and then maybe 3 or 4 days in China. I said, that sounds amazing. I've never been to Korea. I've never been to China. I said, but let me just put a little twist on that. Let's flip it, and we'll go to China, then we'll go to Korea, and then we'll end in Japan. So that way we're getting cleaner, safer, and more polite as we end the trip.
Genius.
Yeah. You know why? Monster Party fan.
See?
It raises your IQ, folks.
Now,
I ain't no clown.
no, clearly you are not a clown. And if Larry were here, he would second
I
that.
still want him to call me a clown.
He will. We'll make it happen. And so, as a final thing, this is definitely, I guess, we're at G-Fest, by the way, just to let you know, in case you were wondering. Yeah.
The PA is broken, so that dude just randomly does laps and shouts G-Fest out like he's a wrestler from WWE.
But
G-Fest in the house!
now, one of the things we're looking forward to today is the costume contest. Now, are you a cosplayer in any way?
No. I appreciate cosplay. I like seeing it. I think it's that, I appreciate the fact that people have that kind of passion. I have no interest in doing that unless I could get like some super high quality one.
Okay, so
Then I probably would.
if you were going to do cosplay,
Yeah.
what would be that costume?
Now, are we keeping this Godzilla Kaiju centric or?
We'll start with that and then go to outside that.
Okay. If I had all the money in the world or access to Toho's vault of suits.
Yeah, let's just say short of the vault,
Okay.
and someone gives you
A really good costume.
$3,000 to work with.
I would attempt to create Biolante Godzilla, which is arguably my favorite design.
Wow, you heard it here. James is a gigantic Biollante fan.
It's like one of my favorite Godzilla movies.
Wait, now
now.
is this serious or is this like he loves Star Trek? Is this a real?
No, I'm actually serious about that. That's not.
I think it's one of the most original, unique Godzilla films. I love Biollante.
I think it's the film that almost single-handedly resuscitated the whole series, because after Godzilla '84, there just wasn't, it didn't have the promise that it should have. But Biollante brought it back. That was a fun, exciting, intriguing movie with great human characters. I loved Miki Segusa.
I think it's visually beautiful. A lot of the shots of Biollante.
Yeah, and it's a great score too.
Yeah. So yeah, I'd go with that. I'd go with the Biollante Godzilla suit.
I love that. Okay, and now outside of the Godzilla realm,
Anything?
anything.
I don't know. Give me something. Give me a genre. Give me a
Okay,
movie.
how about horror?
Oh, horror? I'd go for a really accurate Jason. Jason.
Okay, like so.
From like either 3 or Final Chapter.
I see. Okay, so something you could take the mask off and you'd have a really nice prosthetic makeup situation. Maybe something that oozed a little bit.
Yeah, as much as I can talk all day long, I'm like, I don't want people to see my face. Something covers myself up. Then I don't have to make eye contact with people. There's also a showbiz side. Yeah, don't make eye contact with me.
No, you don't want to do that. Yeah. It turns into a feeding frenzy.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you so much. On that note, I am Matt Weinhold.
And I'm James Gonis.
And I'm Rob LAURICH.
Keep America strong. G-Fest the fuck out of this thing.
G-Fest!